Pagpatuloy pag-aaral mo, tagumpay ay naghihintay sa'yo.
Balik eskwela na naman, di sa puso ang kahandaan. Handang isip, handa bukas, sa pagkakaisa ay may lakas.
Ito na ang new normal, online learning at modular. Di na kailangang mag-face to face, gamit ang cellphone at radio base. Yakapin ang pagbabago, pahirapan, kaya natin to. Lakasan ang iyong loob, sa bagong normal, sa bagong
Isang
mundo.
alang-alang natin ang ating kaligtasan, sa bawat oras at panahon, magpakailanman. Hangad palagi ng ating paaralan, ang matuto, gayon din maging ligtas ang kabataan. Tayo ay magkaisa, halina't sama-sama, kasali lahat, kasama lahat, para sa lahat. Pilipinas, maghanda ka na, balik eskwela na, tara. Tayong lahat, sabay-sabay,
Pagkakaisa ay may lakas. Ito na ang new normal, online learning at modular. Di na kailangang mag-face to face, gamit ang cellphone at radio base. Yakapin ang pagbabago, pahirapan, kaya natin to. Lakasan ang iyong loob, sa bagong normal, sa bagong mundo. Sa bagong normal, sa bagong mundo. Sa bagong normal, sa bagong mundo.
Nagasibya gikan sa Bulawanong probinsya sa Davao de Oro. Kini ang Siguradong Lingaw,
Siguradong lingaw.
Siguradong Kuyaw,
Siguradong kuyaw.
88.5 Z Radio.
This is Z Radio 88.5.
Z Radio 88.5. Siguradong lingaw. Siguradong kuyaw.
Good morning, province of Davao de Oro. Our food for thought for today is coming from the book of Philippians chapter 4, verse 13. And it says, I can do all things through Christ which strengthened me. Reflection. What does God require? Perfection. Nothing less than perfection. But if we would be perfect, we must put no confidence in self. Daily, we must know and understand that self is not to be trusted. We need to grasp God's promises with firm faith. We need to ask for the Holy Spirit with a full realization of our own helplessness. Then when the Holy Spirit works, we shall not give self the glory. The Holy Spirit will graciously take the heart into His keeping, bringing to it all the bright beams of the Sun of Righteousness. We shall be kept by the power of God through faith. When we are daily under the control of God's Spirit, we shall be commandment-keeping people. We may show to the world that obedience to God's commands brings its own reward, even in this life, and in the future life, eternal blessedness. Notwithstanding our profession of faith, the Lord by whom our actions are weighed sees but an imperfect representation of Christ. He has declared that such a condition of things cannot glorify Him. It means much to commit the keeping of the soul to God. It means that we are to live and walk by faith, not trusting in or glorifying self, but looking to Jesus, our advocate, as the author and finisher of our faith. The Holy Spirit will do its work upon a heart that is contrite, but never can He work upon a self-important, self-righteous soul. In His own wisdom, such a one would mend himself. He interposes between his soul and the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit will work if self will not interpose. The Holy Spirit is ready to cooperate with all who will receive Him and be taught by Him. All who lay hold unto the truth and are sanctified through the truth are so united with Christ that they can represent Him in word and action. May the Holy Spirit speak to the hearts of God's chosen people, that their words may be as choice as gold as they give the bread of life to those in transgression and sin. It is God's pleasure and will that the blessings bestowed on man shall be given in perfect completeness. He has made provision that every difficulty may be overcome. Every want supplied through the Holy Spirit. Thus, He designs that the man shall perfect a Christian character. God would have us contemplate His love, His promises, given so freely to those who have no merit in themselves. He would have us depend fully, gratefully, rejoicing in the righteousness provided for us in Christ. To all who come to God in His appointed way, He freely listens.
kagikan sa bubuhay. Davao de Oro, tuburan sa paglaho. Sa Davao inyong mahuswagon, ang kaanyag mo makabibihan, talag sa undas sa kahitasan. Kamukiran sa lumaki alimahan, bunga sa kalagayan. Davao de Oro, lutang saan, may bulawang may pagluban. Yuta mong nagmadagayaon, mga anak mong mahigugmaon. Ipaligod sa bayanihan, iumol sa panaghiusap. Sa timumang may mapeya at sa pagpinabangan may kalamluan. Davao de Oro, kanimong nagamitan among kabulahanan. Davao de Oro, mapulawanong paraiso. Sa naghiusang Davaoenyo, ang kaanyang makabibihan, talag sa ondas sa kahitasan. Kabukiran sa lumagi alimahan, bunga sa kalagayan. Davao de Oro, kami mong nagagikan among kabulahanan. Davao de Oro, mapulawanong paraiso. Sa naghiusang Davaoenyo, Davao de Oro, Davao de Oro, dagat tuyutan, buhing bulawan. Davao de Oro, Davao de Oro, dagat tuyutan, buhing
Z Radio 88.5.
Oras natin ngayon, it's already 10:32 na po ng umaga, and our time check is brought to us by our Vice Governor of the Province of Davao de Oro. Walay lain kundi si Honorable Maria Carmen Zamora. Hello, hello! Maayong buntag ka natong tanan. Today, it's a beautiful Saturday po sa ating lahat. And it's June 26, 2021. And here we come again for another episode po sa ating programang Radyo Z-Eskwela. Siguradong masaya. Dito lang yan sa inyong paboritong istasyon, ang Z Radio 88.5 FM. Ang istasyong Siguradong Lingaw, Siguradong Kuyaw. Teacher Drew Manuel po, your maestrong mawabenyo. And makakasama niyo po ako for the first 2 hours of today's episode. And later on po, makakasama niyo rin si Teacher Maymay Resma, ang atuang chiniting maestra sa Nabunturan. Ayan mga ka-Z-Eskwela, good morning once again, most especially sa atong mga learners across the province of Davao de Oro, and also sa mga tigpaminaw nato o mga taga-subaybay nato sa mga sikbit na lalawigan abot nining Sibiyahanan. And mayong buntag usab sa ato ang mga parents and guardians na nakatutok sa ato ang programa karon, o sa ato mga personahe sa division office, mga fellow teachers across the province. Good morning po sa ating lahat. Good morning also sa ato mga butihing program sponsors. Ayan mga ka-Z-Eskwela, today, Saturday, we will give you another 4 lesson presentations po para sa ating mga learners. And bago yan po mga ka-Z-Eskwela, I would just like to plug na aside sa atong on-air dinhi sa atong paboritong istasyon, we do have our cross-line streaming gamit ang Facebook application. All you have to do is to like and subscribe all our social media platforms. We have our FB page, Z Radio 88.5, DepEd Tayo Division of Davao de Oro, and Radyo Z-Eskwela, DepEd Davao de Oro. Yes. We do have our 3 FB pages. And with those FB pages, mga ka-Z-Eskwela, mamahimong ihatag ninyo ang inyong mga komento, mga pa-shoutout, and even suggestions and questions regarding our lesson presentation para makita nyo naman yung participation sa atong programa. And just comment in the comment boxes of those FB pages. And if you're not online ngayon, mga ka-Z-Eskwela, wag nang malungkot pa. Since we do have our YouTube channel, doon po nakalagay yung ating mga lesson presentations gunad pa sa mag-start sa atong school year 2020-2021. Please like and subscribe and click the notification bell of our YouTube channel, which is the Radyo Z-Eskwela DDO. Again, our YouTube channel is the Radyo Z-Eskwela DDO. Ayan, it's already 10:35 na po, mga ka-Z-Eskwela, and I am reminding all our learners, mga TVL, mga senior high school, ang ato ang mga learners na concerned for today. Please notify us with your attendance by filling out our attendance link for today, which is https://tinyurl.com/Radyo Z-Eskwela June 26. Ayan, naka-flash yan sa ating mga FB screens, and at the same time nakapin din yan sa ating mga comment box sections or different FB pages. Okay, sa atong mga senior high school learners, so uptick na sa pag-response yan later on sa ato ang episode, mga ka-Z-Eskwela. Ang attendance link mag-open lang yan today 10 to 2 p.m. for today, and later on our SMPT will evaluate kung sino yung mga maraming mga responses na attendance for today. So uptick na dyan mo dira. Ayan, so I know that our learners are very excited for the first lesson presentation na ating ibibigay para sa inyo. And this would be about the TVL and bread and pastry production. The topic for this one is prepare dessert. Lami kayong dessert. Well, we will be joined by the content presenter, isang teacher from Pindasan National High School. We have Ma'am Cheryl Absin. Make your Saturday weekend productive here at Radyo Z-Eskwela program through listening and engaging with the skill-citing lesson episodes in technical vocational livelihood. This is Radyo Z-Eskwela, sigurado masaya. Dito lang yan sa Z-Radio 88.5 FM. Kaya naman, tara na, magklase na ta!
Most especially to our learners. Welcome in our presentation in Home Economics TVL track. By the way, I am teacher Cheryl S. Absin of Pindasan National High School, Division of Davao de Oro. Join me as we explore our new lesson in TVL Home Economics track.
Learners, we are now in the 4th quarter in our lesson in cookery. Today, we will be discussing all about preparing desserts and with integration on preparing eggs. The objectives of today's lesson are: at the end of this episode, the students will be able to learn how to identify the different classifications of desserts. Number 2, prepare, plate, present, and store an example of dessert and sweet sauces. And number 3, appreciate the importance of dessert and its business opportunity. I know that lots of you are very eager enough and excited and longing to see your classmates face to face. But we are still fighting to end this crisis. Always remember, bida ang solusyon. Bawal walang mask, isanitize ang kamay, dumistansya ng 1 metro, at alamin ang totoong impormasyon. Education still continues right in your home. Now, please get your modules and listen carefully as you tune in our program, Radyo Z-Eskwela, School on the Air so that you will be able to follow our discussions and learn another lesson from our specialization. But before we proceed, may I remind you of the following simple rules on how to use your modules. Number 1. Use the module with care. Do not put unnecessary mark or marks on any part of the module. Use a separate sheet of paper in answering the exercises. Number 2. Read the instructions carefully before doing each task. As for this episode, I will be with you as we accomplish some of the tasks and activities for the Quarter 4, Module 1 of 2 of our subject Cookery. Number 3, observe honesty, integrity, and most especially safety in doing the tasks and checking your answers. Number 4, finish the task at hand before proceeding to the next. And number 5, return this module to your teacher or facilitator once you are through with it. Now, are you ready? Very good! I guess everything is all set. Then, let's begin guessing game. Name the tool. Can you guess the picture? How about its uses and functions? Can you still remember? Let's try. Picture number 1. Yes, it's a measuring spoon. It is used in measuring small quantity of ingredients. Picture number 2. Scraper. Used to blend or scrape the food from the bowl. How about picture number 3? It's a type of a baking pan or llanera. This is used for molding or baking. Picture number 4. Mixing bowl. This is used in mixing ingredients. And the last but not the least, picture number 5. Good job! Picture number 5 is a steamer. It's used to cook foods with a moist, hot air. Wow! That's awesome! Great job! These tools are very important in preparing desserts. With all those examples of tools that has been presented, what do you think is the kind of dessert that we will be preparing? Can you guess? Our lesson for today is all about the different types or classification of desserts. Then, we will also prepare one of those. Are you ready? But before that, please read the lesson information on page 166 to 174. This will guide you along our way as you journey the world of desserts. Now, desserts are usually sweet course or dish served at the end of the meal. It balances the whole meal. These are the classifications of desserts. Number 1, fruits. Examples, we have the buko salad and the fruit platter. Number 2, we have the cheese. Examples, we have the cheese tower and strawberry cheesecake. Number 3, we have the gelatin dessert. Examples, we have the buko pandan and cathedral. Next, we have the custard. Examples, we have the brazo de Mercedes and the leche flan. Number 5, we have the puddings. These are the maja blanca and cassava cake. Next, we have the cobblers. Example, we have the peach cobbler. And the last but not the least, we have the frozen desserts. This includes the ice cream, the sherbet and the ices, and the soufflés and the mousses. Sweet sauces are flavored liquid blend of ingredients that adds flavor and enhances the appearance of the food. These sauces are categorized as custard sauce, purees, and syrup. Did you find it mouth-watering? Who among you have tried all kinds of dessert? Would you like to make one? You know, there's more. You can make business out of it, and surely you will love its profit. One of the most valued desserts in the Philippines is the leche flan. It is made from the eggs and milk. It has a layer of soft caramel on top and smooth custard on the bottom. It is usually served during parties and special occasions. It was also derived from a French custard dessert or the creamy caramel. Preparing leche flan is also part of unit of competency in preparing egg dishes. Now, I will demonstrate how to make a leche flan. Here are the ingredients and costing. 10 egg yolks, that is 100 pesos. 1 can evaporated milk, 27 pesos. 2 cans of condensed milk, 65 pesos. And the zest of lemon, 4 pesos. And of course, we need 2 to 4 tablespoons of sugar for caramelizing, and that is for 5 pesos. And of course, we need to store our output. That's why we need packaging. Packaging composed of 25 pesos. The total amount is 226 pesos. And we will be able to yield 5 leche flans for 100 pesos each. That is 500 pesos. And our net profit is 274 pesos. Wow! That's amazing! Again, these are the ingredients. 10 egg yolks, 1 can evap milk, 2 cans of condensed milk, and a zest of lemon, and then 2 to 4 tablespoons of sugar for caramelizing. Now, let us proceed with the demonstration. First is you're going to turn on the stove in very low heat under a steamer. Next, we need to caramelize the sugar into the llaneras, making sure it will not be burnt. In a separate bowl, separate egg yolks from the whites. Stir gently, then add in the milk, the evap and the condensed milk. Then, zest in the lemon rind. Strain the mixture twice and fill in the llaneras in more than half full. Cover with foil or transparent cellophane. Cook in a steamer for 40 minutes under low heat. If done, cool down and run a knife on the sides. Turn it upside down and store in a plastic container. For plating, serve in a dessert plate and garnish with cream and caramel nest. Now we're done! It's your turn to cook now. Kindly turn your module on page 181 for the performance task and the rubrics. Okay, let's check if you did the task well. Good job! At this time, we will have our post-test to assess what you have learned from our lesson. Direction: I will read a question twice. Write the answer on your test notebook. Again, I'm going to read the question twice and you are going to write the answer on your test notebook. Ready? Which of the following is an example of a frozen dessert? A. Egg pie. B. Mango float. C. Sapin-sapin. D. Turon. Again, which of the following is an example of a frozen dessert? A. Egg pie. B. Mango float. C. Sapin-sapin. D. Turon. Number 2. How does cobblers differ from pies? A. They are topped with biscuit dough. B. They must only be served hot. C. It tastes sweet. And letter D. It was baked. Again, how does cobblers differ from pies? A. They are topped with biscuit dough. Letter B. They must only be served hot. Letter C. It tastes sweet. And letter D. It was baked. Number 3. Which is not a characteristic of a good fruit dessert? A. Appetizing aroma. B. Complex or complicated flavor. C. Slightly chilled. D. Fresh appearance. Again, which is not a characteristic of a good fruit dessert? A. Appetizing aroma. B. Complex or complicated flavor. C. Slightly chilled. And letter D. Fresh appearance. Next, number 4. The common element for all desserts. It serves as sweeteners. Again, it is a common element for all desserts, and it serves as sweeteners. A. Chocolate. B. Gelatin. C. Milk. And letter D. Sugar. Again, letter A. Chocolate. B. Gelatin. C. Milk. And letter D. Sugar. Which of the following sauces is suited to a simple dessert? A. Cold sauce. B. Hot fudge sauce. C. Light sauce. And letter D. Rich sauce. Again, which of the following sauces is suited to a simple dessert? A. Cold sauce. B. Hot fudge sauce. C. Light sauce. And letter D. Rich sauce. Now, let us check your answers. For number 1, The answer is letter B, mango float. Number 2, the answer is letter A, they are topped with biscuit dough. Next, number 3, letter B, complex or complicated flavor. Number 4, letter D, sugar. And number 5, letter D, rich sauce. Now, check the number and count your correct answers. Write your score in the upper right portion of your test notebook. You did it! Now, let us check if we hit our objectives for today. At the end of this episode, you will be able to learn how to identify the different classifications of desserts. Next, prepare, plate, present, and store desserts and sweet sauces. And number 3, appreciate the importance of dessert and its business opportunity. Thank you for tuning in and job well done, everyone. Please don't forget to submit all your outputs during the scheduled retrieval and distribution of modules. Once again, thank you so much. This is Teacher Cheryl S. Absin, leaving you a quote: a happy tummy creates a happy life, and the opposite of stress is dessert. Till next time, goodbye!
Kini ang Siguradong Lingaw, Siguradong Kuyaw, 88.5 Z-Radio.
This is Z-Radio 88.5.
Oras natin is already 10:56 na po ng umaga, and our time check is brought to us by Apex Mining Company Incorporated and Acorn Builders and Supply. Ayan mga ka-Z-Eskwela, natapos na nating ibigay ating first lesson presentation for today, which is about TVL bread and pastry production. We would like to say thank you so much to our content presenter, Ma'am Cheryl Absin, isang teacher from Pindasan National High School. Dagan kayong salamat, ma'am, sa imuhang nindot kayo na presentation. Ayan mga ka-Z-Eskwela, we do have 3 more lesson presentations na ibibigay po namin para sa inyo, most especially sa atong mga TVL learners. At bago yan, nais ko ng pasalamatan ang amuang Radyo Z-Eskwela program sponsors. Thank you so much, Nuwada Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated, Maverick Builders Incorporated, Mitch Construction and Supply, Arkikans Architectural Construction and Supply, DB Construction and Supply, Kanaway Builders Corporation, Phoenix Corbada Tagum Gasoline Station, Master Construction and Supplies, Mackenzie Builders, and GPNH Construction Incorporated. Thank you so much mga Z-Eskwela program sponsors. And again, we would like to remind all our learners across the province of Davao de Oro to notify us with your attendance for today. Our attendance link po mga ka-Z-Eskwela ay naka-flash sa ating mga FB screens. And at the same time po mga ka-Z, nakapin din yan sa ating mga comment box sections sa our different FB pages. And if you have your pa-shoutouts and pa-comments po sa ating lesson presentations, wag nang magdua-dua pa to comment on the comment boxes of our different FB pages. And if you're using your smartphones or Android phones, for your convenience po mga ka-Z-Eskwela, para ma-notify mo sa atong programa, all you have to do is to download our Z-Radio application sa inyong mga Google Play or Play Store. So, uptick na para mas ma-notify mo not only the program of Radyo Z-Eskwela but the entire programs of Z-Radio 80.5 na amo ang gina-offer. Ayan. It's already 10:58 na po mga ka-Z. And nais ko ring batiin ang ato ang top fans na si Jolene Lasola Canoy and Ma'am Evelyn Lim Obeja. og sa akong kaubanan dira sa Tuburan National High School na naa sa ilang mga tagsa-tagsang panimalay karon na nagsikay-sikay, most especially ang akong kauban or fellow teacher dinha sa Antiquera na bunturan Davao de Oro na si Ma'am Robelyn Alboroto. See you later, ma'am. Amping and andam ng paniud to, ma'am. Well, anyway, it's a joke lang. Well, it's already 10:59 na po mga ka-Z-Eskwela, and it's time for the second lesson presentation. And it would be about TVL pa rin, Hairdressing NC2. This is about hair coloring as the topic for our second lesson presentation. And we will be joined by the content presenter na si Ma'am Jenny P. Aranas. It's already 11 a.m. na po, and I'm sure all our learners are very ready for this lesson presentations. Make your Saturday weekend productive here at Radyo Z-Eskwela program through listening and engaging with these skill-citing lesson episodes in technical vocational livelihood. Ito pa rin ang Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Dito lang yan sa Z-Radio 88.5 FM. Ang istasyong siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw. Kaya naman, tara na, magklase na ta!
Good day, our dear learners, listeners, and televiewers. I am Jenny Payagan Aranas from Moncayo National High School, Senior High, Moncayo West District. I will be with you in this lesson as we go through another module lesson of hairdressing and NC2. Today, learners, you will demonstrate an outcome unit of competency in performing hair color. At the end of this lesson, you are expected to first, classify hair coloring. Second, familiarize the step-by-step procedures of hair coloring. In our previous lesson, we have discussed the preparation prior to hair coloring services. As a review, answer the following statements if it is true or false. Are you ready, learners? Number 1. Examining the patient's type of hair and skin involves determining the texture of his or her skin. Very good! It's true! Its purpose is to determine if the patient is allergic of the hair chemicals. Number 2. A strand test is a preliminary test given before a 10th application to determine the required development of time. Good! It's true. A strand test must be given as a preliminary test given not only to determine the required development time, but also the kind of hair types. Number 3. We use tail comb to apply color to the hair. Good! It's false because we use applicator brush to apply color to the hair. Number 4. Draping is a means of protecting patients' clothing. Good! It's true. The purpose of draping is to prevent stains from chemicals. Number 5. Wearing of hand gloves is not a requirement in hair coloring services. Excellent! Great job! It's false. We need to use gloves to prevent the harmful effects of chemicals. Now, since you know already the preparation prior to hair color, let us proceed to lesson 2, which is apply color. Get your module and open it to page 10, lesson 2. You may not have thought of this, but every time you add color to your hair, you add strength to it. Colors add certain coating on your hair, which helps making your hair stronger. Classification of hair coloring. Temporary hair coloring. Temporary hair coloring works on the surface of hair to add sheer color, and it's typically only lasts 1 to 2 shampoos. Semi-permanent hair coloring. Semi-permanent hair coloring is meant for short-term hair color changes. The dye coats the surface of the hair shaft rather than fundamentally changing the color of the hair. This creates an easy-on, easy-off solution that can be mixed to create various colors and shades. Permanent hair coloring. Permanent hair coloring generally contains ammonia and must be mixed with a developer or oxidizing agent in order to permanently change hair color. Procedure for hair coloring. First, we need to have the following tools and materials: towels, hydrogen peroxide, tape, color chart, protective gloves, shampoo bowl, cotton, record card, shampoo, talcum powder, selected color tint, comb, timer, applicator, tint brushes, swab sticks, and mixing bowls. For the preliminary steps, 1. Give preliminary patch test 24 hours before coloring. Number 2, proceed with the coloring if the patch test is negative. Number 3, examine patient's scalp. Number 4, color may be applied with an applicator bottle or brush. Preparation. Number 1, prepare all needed materials and implements. Number 2, prepare the patient. Number 3, re-examine patient's scalp. Number 4, select desired color. Number 5, put on protective gloves. Number 6, make color strand test. Number 7, prepare the formula. procedure. Number 1, section the hair into 4 quarters. Number 2, subdivide section into 1/4 inch strands. Number 3, pick up a strand of hair, hold it away from the hair. Number 4, apply color to the hair from 1 inch from the scalp to hair ends. Number 5, finish the application of color section by section. Number 6, let color develop for about 15 minutes. Number 7, take a strand test to check color development. Number 8, apply tint mixture to scalp area. Be sure all hair is saturated. Number 9, give tint until the desired color has developed evenly from the scalp to the ends. Number 10, rinse hair with lukewarm water to remove excess color. Number 11, remove stains around the hairline, ears, and neck. Number 12, shampoo hair and rinse thoroughly with lukewarm water, towel dry. Number 13, style hair. Number 14, fill out record card and file.
The Radyo Z-Eskwela program of the Division of Davao de Oro is being brought to you by Nueda Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated, Maverick Builders Incorporated, Mitch Construction and Supply, Archicons Architectural Construction and Supply, DB Construction and Supply, Hanaway Builders Corporation, Phoenix Corvada Tagum Gasoline Station, Master Construction and Supplies, Mackenzie Builders, GP&H Construction Incorporated, Metro Gear Construction Corporation, NEN Builders and Development Services Corporation, Max Mays Enterprises Incorporated, We Inc. Construction Company, Rangay Construction and Supply, East Sussex Enterprise, WM Construction, Councilor Boogie and Miss Marjorie Vertodazo, Icon Builders and Supply, and Apex Mining Company Incorporated.
To know more about hair coloring, please watch this short video about hair coloring at salon.
We're going to begin by draping the guests using a towel underneath to protect their clothing from color. We're going to go ahead and apply a barrier cream around the hairline. While I'm sure we're capable of painting between the lines neatly, it's always possible to get a stain or two. Next, we're going to section the hair into 4 sections. Go ahead and measure and mix formula number 1 for the base. Outline the first front section. Now go ahead and apply to the base using a 1/4 inch diagonal back parting. Work from the top of the section to the bottom, bringing hair away from the face. Repeat the color application on the other front side. Notice how we are painting both the top and bottom of the section. This is a huge time saver. Move to the back and repeat the same procedure using horizontal partings. Work from top to bottom. Let's go ahead and mix formula number 2 for the midshaft and ends. We always want to use a lighter and slightly warmer formula, as porosity is high in these areas. Begin in the bottom back section where we left off. Take the same 1/4 inch partings and apply color from the midshaft to the ends. Use a squeezing technique with your middle and pointer finger to evenly saturate the hair with color. Time to repeat the color application on the other back section. Now let's go ahead and release the side sections by bringing them down. Again, take 1/4 inch sections, this time from the top, applying the color away from the face. Time to repeat the application on the other front side. Hot tip, cross-check to ensure saturated application. We're going to set a timer according to manufacturer's directions. Let's go ahead and condition, rinse, and then we'll style it as desired.
Now, you know how to do the hair coloring. And it is time for a self-check and return demonstration. Answer the self-check page 12 and write your answer on a separate sheet of paper. After answering the self-check, you may continue to the activity in page 13. Perform hair coloring service. You are required to perform this at home. In your module, you are given the instructions and performance rubric that will serve as your guide.
The Radyo Z-Eskwela program of the Division of Davao de Oro is being brought to you by Nueda Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated, Maverick Builders Incorporated, Mitch Construction and Supply, Archicons Architectural Construction and Supply, DB Construction and Supply, Hanaway Builders Corporation, Phoenix Corvada Tagum Gasoline Station, Master Construction and Supplies, Mackenzie Builders, GP&H Construction Incorporated, Metro Gear Construction Corporation, NEN Builders and Development Services Corporation, Max Mays Enterprises Incorporated, We Inc. Construction Company, Rangay Construction and Supply, East Sussex Enterprise, WM Construction, Councilor Boogie and Miss Marjorie Vertodazo, Icon Builders and Supply, and Apex Mining Company Incorporated.
In this lesson, we have learned classification of hair coloring and step-by-step procedures of hair coloring. You were able to familiarize the step-by-step procedures of hair coloring and perform hair coloring. Have we accomplished our target task today? Yes, we did! Congratulations! And that's it for today, my dear learners. Once again, I am Jenny Payagan Aranas from Moncayo National High School Senior High, Moncayo West District. Have a great day ahead, and until the next learning journey.
Radyo Z-Eskwela Executive and Technical Working Committee. The school's Division Superintendent, Eufemia T. Gamutin Seso 5. Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Romel R. Handayan. Curriculum Implementation Division OIC Chief, Dr. Arlene B. Lim. School Governance and Operations Division, Dr. Ruben J. Riponte. Program Director, Dr. Arlene B. Lim. Assistant Program Director, Noemi P. Canales. Members, Cecilia Morales, Dr. Hilda A. Opeña, Dr. Eldecris B. Calzadora, Dr. Dexter A. Siquinia, Nohara O. Pinute, Dr. Grace D. Pontillas, Dr. Renato M. Pakpakin, Dr. Andy P. Cabodok, Juanito Lapiceros, Engineer Norberto S. Manlangi, Ryan Villanueva, Jomar M. Dumupoy, Bob Daylan S. Milabat, Medard D. Apit, and Paz Eugenia Villusino. Technical Working Committee, Production and Communications, Lorely E. Quijano, Given G. Hinampas, Judilan T. Yu, Donna D. T. Bolifer, Mary Rose N. Resma, Riwen C. Manuel, Irene Lea C. Manguhon, and Bessie Aya N. Banyes. Social Media and Packaging Team, Christian Anhara L. Martesio, William R. Lanara, Joan T. Iscoton, Roberto S. Acusar Jr., May B. Istaniol, Richard H. Arellano, Ralph A. Tabanyag, Angelo C. Gutierrez Jr., Jade Karen R. Arais, Eliza May Garsuta, Sedi S. Caballero, and Jane S. Caballero. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Right and only here at Z Radio 88.5, ang istasyong siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw.
Time check, it's already 11:21 na po ng umaga, and our time check is brought to us by our Vice Governor Honorable Maria Carmen Zamora. Ayan mga ka-Z-Eskwela, natapos na natin i-feature ang ating second lesson presentation which is about TVL Hairdressing NC2. The topic is hair coloring. We would like to say thank you so much po sa ating content presenter, Ma'am Jenny P. Aranas, coming from Mungkay National High School. 2 down, 2 more to go mga ka-Z-Eskwela. And bago natin ibigay ang 2 lesson presentations, since we do have a bit of minutes sa ating first 2 hours, nais ko munang batiin and say thank you sa ato ang Radyo Z-Eskwela program sponsors. Thank you so much Metro Gear Construction Corporation, Nan Builders and Development Services Corporation, Max Mace Enterprises Incorporated, We In Construction Company, Rangay Construction and Supply, East Sussex Enterprise, WM Construction, Councilor Mugen Miss Marjorie Vertodazo, Aiken Builders and Supply, Apex Mining Company, and Bahati Construction. Ayan mga ka-Z-Eskwela, I would like once again to remind all our learners, our senior high school learners, to notify us with your attendance by filling our attendance link for today, which is naka-flash dyan sa ating mga FB screens, and at the same time nakapin din yan sa ating mga comment box sections or different FB pages. Ayan, still nakatutok pa rin kayo sa inyong paboritong istasyon ng Z Radio 88.5 FM, ang istasyong siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw. And this is Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. And our program is being brought to us by the Department of Education Division of Davao de Oro, in partnership of course with the Z Radio 88.5 FM. And aside sa atong on-air din sa inyong paboritong istasyon, we do have our cross-line streaming. Sa katong wala pa subscribe, naka-follow and like sa ato ang mga FB pages. Hala, most especially sa itong mga learners. Uptick na and like and follow our FB pages such as the Z Radio 88.5, DepEd Division of Davao de Oro, and the Radyo Z-Eskwela DepEd Davao de Oro. And of course, if you missed this episode mga ka-Z-Eskwela, all you have to do is to review all our lesson presentations gunad pa sa pag-start sa itong school year 2020-2021. Naka-download yan sa ato mga YouTube channel. I mean, atong lesson presentations ay downloaded po sa ato ang YouTube channel na Radyo Z-Eskwela DDO. Again, our YouTube channel is Radyo Z-Eskwela DDO. And if you have questions po mga ka-Z-Eskwela and hindi kayo naka-online ngayon, nakatutok lang kayo or naka-dial lang kayo sa inyong mga radyo ngayon, you can reach us through texting us or calling us with our official mobile number, which is the 0953-211-3492. Again, our official mobile phone number for our program is 0953-211-3492. Ayan, so it's already 12:24 na po mga ka-Z-Eskwela, and nais ko lang batiin ang pa-shoutout na sina Ma'am Evelyn Lim Obeha, Ma'am Jeline Lasola Canoy, and Ma'am Evangeline Idoliantes Amuges. Nais ko ring batiin ang amuang Public District Supervisor din sa Mawab District na si Ma'am Azucena L. Teves. And also to our school in charge, at the same time the head teacher 1 of Tuburan National High School, Sir Rogelio Jojo Gono. O sa tanan akong mga kanhing mga teachers din na sa Mawab Central Elementary School and also Lorenzo Sarmiento Senior National High School. So thank you so much po sa inyong mga kanunayang suporta, and I'm sure na amo sa inyong mga tagsa-tagsa na panimalay or na amoy mga ginabuhat karon na I do hope na amo sa maayong paminsar o maayong panglawas, since labi na natay mga challenges karon with regards sa atong global pandemic. And of course, I would like to remind everyone na i-maintain jud ang minimum health standards na ginapa sunod sa atuang gobyerno. And at the same time, katong wala pa nakabakuna, so magpabakuna na. This is for our good things naman po, para mahuman na ni ato ang pandemic. Well, anyway, it's already 11:26 na po mga ka-Z-Eskwela. Sa ato ang pagbalik, okay, let's pause for an advertisement muna. And after this few messages po mga ka-Z-Eskwela, akong iingon sa inyo kung unsa yung atangan na duha ka lesson presentation para po also for our senior high school learners. Ito pa rin ang Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Dito lang yan sa atong paboritong istasyon, ang Z-Radio 88.5 FM, ang istasyong siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw. Bumabalik ko after these few messages.
Z-Radio 88.5, siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw.
Pre, unsa din ang 88.5?
Z-Radio.
Unsa man po ng Z-Radio?
88.5.
Ah, kuyaw, oy!
Ma 88.5 o Z-Radio man, kamo na minaw sa siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw. Z-Radio 88.5. Makisayod sa hisgutanang kalinaw alang sa kalabuan sa atong komunidad. Kalinaw para sa kalambuan. Paminaw kada Biyernes alas 9 hangtod alas 10 sa buntag. Kalinaw para sa kalambuan. Dili lang sa Z-Radio 88.5. Siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw.
For keeps nga agri-tips. Ang yuta kadugayan sa sige og tanom posible mawad-an og soil nutrient. Aron kini malikayan, magplano para sa soil nutrient regeneration o pagpabalik sa sustansya sa yuta sama sa pag-crop rotation. Kini nga agricul tip hatod kaninyo ni Col Herb Zamora Apsay sa Octaem Agri School.
Kazi, usa ka ba kateki? Pindot diri, pindot dito. Ang inyong bagong Z-Radio may application na. Mag-download sa Android App Store ug Z-Radio application aron masking asa ka man moadto, Luzon, Visayas ug Mindanao o masking naka sa Zimbabwe. Makapaminaw ka sa siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw. Z-Radio 88.5.
Maghatod kaninyo sa mga nag-unang katikaran sa sangguniang palalawigan sa atong probinsya sa Davao de Oro. Izangguni mo! Izangguni mo! Punto de vista sa lehislatura. Kay ang tingog sa sanggunian mao'y tingog sa katauhan. Izangguni mo!
For keeps nga agri-tips. Karong panahon sa tag-ulan, usa sa atong kagulan ang pagdaghan sa lamok. Gawa sa permentihon nato ang paglimpyo sa atong palibot, pwede sab magtanom og basil, citronella, kutsay, mayana ug tanglad. Kay kini nga mga tanom, natural nga pang-abog sa mga lamok ug lain pang insekto. Kini nga agricul tip hatod kaninyo ni Col Herb Zamora Apsay sa Octaem Agri School.
Mga legal nga hisgutanan, Panyero de Oro, tagaan ug pagtagad sa programang Panyero de Oro. Paminaw kada Miyerkules alas 8 hangtod alas 9 sa buntag. Panyero de Oro, dili lamang sa Z-Radio 88.5. Siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw.
You got it.
Panyero de Oro.
For keeps nga agri-tips. Kabalo ba mo nga 80% sa mga kakao sa tibuok kalibutan kay gikan sa Pilipinas? Kini nagpamatuod nga atong raw materials adunay kapasidad nga mahimong premium nga mga produkto. Kini nga agricul tip hatod kaninyo ni Col Herb Zamora Apsay sa Octaem Agri School.
State of the Province. State of the Province. Mga katikaran, kalambuan, news and current affairs ug uban pang mga nag-unang panghitabo sa Davao de Oro Province sa pagdumala ni Governor J.V. Tyrone Uy ilalom sa mas gipakusog nga serbisyong walang iwanan. Aksyon agad, Oro mismo! Inyong mabati matag adlawng Lunes alas 9 hangtod alas 10 sa buntag dinhi lang sa inyong paboritong sibiyahanan ang siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw, Z-Radio 88.5 FM sa dial sa inyong mga radyo. Busa, paminaw na, mag-SOP na kada Lunes. State of the Province. State of the Province.
Hisgot Panglawas. Programang maghatod kaninyo sa mga impormasyon mahitungod sa hisgutanang panglawas. Kauban ng atong mga eksperto. Paminaw matag Huwebes, alas 8 hangtod alas 9 sa buntag. Diri lang sa Z-Radio 88.5. Siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw. Hisgot Panglawas. Kini ang siguradong lingaw.
Siguradong lingaw.
Siguradong kuyaw.
Siguradong kuyaw.
88.5. Z-Radio.
Adlaw siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong kuyaw para sa bulawanon nga probinsya. Z-Radio sa bulawanon nga pagsibya. Z-Radio. Sugata ang adlaw with a smile. Tune in na sa radio, been alive. Bisan na sa man good, listen to the music and it feels so good. Ay gundang ihangtod, may papuntagan pero lingaw man pod. Sa balay man o trabaho, bisan na sa man ka mo adto. Giving you the best music, diri lang sa Z-Radio. Kay ang adlaw siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong kuyaw para sa bulawanon nga probinsya. Z-Radio sa bulawanon nga pagsibya. Z-Radio kay ang adlaw siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong kuyaw para sa bulawanon nga probinsya. Z-Radio sa bulawanon nga pagsibya. Z-Radio don't stop. Sa Z-Radio tagaan mong lingaw, kay giving you the best music and everything, that's what make us proud. So turn your radio up, don't stop. Chillin' while tuning sa radio all day, all night. Diri lang sa Z-Radio. Bisan o ka sa pakapadudong, sa balay man o trabaho. Giving you the best music and everything, diri lang sa Z-Radio.
Z Radio 88.5.
Sabay-sabay na babangon, sama-samang ahon, ihanda ang sarili sa hamon. Di papipigil sa pagsulong sa kinabukasan ng katuon, para sa di kalidad na edukasyon.
Balik-eskwela na naman, sa puso ang kahandaan. Handang isip, handa bukas, sa pagkakaisa ay may lakas.
Ito na ang normal, online learning at modular. Di na kailangang mag-face-to-face, gamit ang cellphone at radio base. Yakapin na ang pagbabago, pahirapan, kaya natin to. Lakasan ng iyong loob, sa bagong normal, sa bagong mundo. Kristiyano't katutubo, isang hanggarin saan patungo. Ipagpatuloy pag-aaral mo, tagumpay ay naghihintay sa'yo.
Balik-eskwela na naman, sa puso ang kahandaan. Handang isip, handa bukas, sa pagkakaisa ay may lakas.
Ito na ang new normal, online learning at modular. Di na kailangang mag-face-to-face, gamit ang cellphone at radio base. Yakapin na ang pagbabago, pahirapan, kaya natin to. Lakasan ng iyong loob, sa bagong normal, sa bagong
Isang alang-alang natin ang ating kaligtasan, sa bawat oras at panahon, magpakailanman. Hangat palagi ng ating paaralan, ang matuto, gayon din maging ligtas ang kabataan. Tayo ay magkaisa, halina't sama-sama, kasali lahat, kasama lahat, para sa lahat. Pilipinas, maghanda ka na, balik-eskwela na, tara. Tayong lahat, sabay-sabay, magkakaisa ay may lakas.
Ito na ang new normal, online learning at modular. Di na kailangang mag-face-to-face, gamit ang cellphone at radio base. Yakapin na ang pagbabago, pahirapan, kaya natin to. Lakasan ng iyong loob, sa bagong normal, sa bagong mundo. Sa bagong normal, sa bagong mundo. Sa bagong normal, sa bagong mundo.
Radyo Z-Eskwela Executive and Technical Working Committee. The School's Division Superintendent, Eufemia T. Gamutin, Seso 5. Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Romel R. Handayan. Curriculum Implementation Division OIC Chief, Dr. Arlene B. Lim. School Governance and Operations Division, Dr. Ruben J. Riponte. Program Director, Dr. Arlene B. Lim. Assistant Program Director, Noemi P. Canales. Members, Cecilia Morales, Dr. Hilda A. Opeña, Dr. Eldecris B. Calzadora, Dr. Dexter A. Sikinia, Nohara O. Pinute, Dr. Grace D. Pontillas, Dr. Renato N. Pakpakin, Dr. Andy P. Cabodok, Juanito Lapiceros, Engineer Norberto S. Manlangit, Ryan Villanueva, Jomar M. Dumupoy, Bob Daylan S. Milabat, Medard D. Apit, and Paz Eugenia Villusino. Technical Working Committee, Production and Communications, Lorely E. Quijano, Given G. Hinampas, Judiland T. Yu, Donna D. T. Bolifer, Mary Rose N. Resma, Riwen C. Manuel, Irene Leia C. Manguhon, and Bessie Aya N. Banyes. Social Media and Packaging Team, Christian Anhara L. Martesio, William R. Ranara, Joan T. Iscoton, Roberto S. Acusar Jr., May B. Istaniol, Richard H. Arellano, Ralph A. Tabanyag, Angelo C. Gutierrez Jr., Jade Karen R. Arais, Eliza May Garsuta, Sedi S. Caballero, and Jane S. Caballero. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Right and only here at Z Radio 88.5, ang istasyong siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw.
Katambalan ng pag-ahon, isang bansang puso ay pinag-iisa.
Nang bitiin, lahat tayo'y uunlad at aangat.
Diyan tayo, kabrigada, diwa ng bayanihan, atin ang hanggang simula. Man ang mararating, mananatiling tayo ay magkasangga. Dahil sa tuwing kasama ka, kabayani kabrigada, lahat ang ikawin gawin, bigat ay kayang buhatin. Ito ang pusong brigada, paalala ay pinapaganda. Pusong brigada eskwela, walang iwanan tayo.
Paaralan, tinatawag na tahanan.
Aalagaan, patuloy pagyamanin, kulay at hindi, panatilihin natin. Kapit lang,
Sama-sama,
walang iwanan,
mananatiling magkasangga.
langit ay kakampiling natin. Ano man ang mararating, mananatiling tayo ay magkasangga. Dahil sa tuwing kasama ka, kabayani kabrigada, lahat ay kayang gawin, bigat ay kayang buhatin. Pusong brigada eskwela, walang iwanan tayo. Walang iwanan tayo.
The Radyo Z-Eskwela program of the Division of Davao de Oro is being brought to you by Tingog Party List, Nueda Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated, Maverick Builders Incorporated, Mitch Construction and Supply, Mabanglo Archicons Architectural Construction and Supply, DB Construction and Supply, Kanaway Builders Corporation, Phoenix Corvada Tagum Gasoline Station, Master Construction and Supplies, Mackenzie Builders, GP&H Construction Incorporated, Metro Gear Construction Corporation, NEN Builders and Development Services Corporation, Max Nays Enterprises Incorporated, We-Ing Construction Company, Rangay Construction and Supply, East Sussex Enterprise, WM Construction, Councilor Boogie and Miss Marjorie Bertodazo, Apex Mining Company Incorporated, and Icon Builders and Supply.
Magbayanihan na, magbayanihan na. Bayanihan, pagtutulungan, walang kupas na kaugalian. Dagdag at tibay, sinasabuhay, galak sa puso ay walang kapantay. Panahon na naman ang brigada, pagbigisin lakas at diwa. Tara na brigada na, brigada eskwela, magkaisa sama-sama. Brigada eskwela, sa tingnan buong barkada. Brigada eskwela, kilos ng pagbayanihan na. Ikaw ako, tayong lahat,
hawak kamay, sabay-sabay, kapit bisig, buong bayan. Tara na, kumilos na. Tulong-tulong sa pagsulong, hatid na kalidad sa edukasyon. Sa kabataan, saya at dunong, buong madla sabay na aahon. Panahon na naman ng brigada, pagbigisin lakas at diwa. Tara na, brigada na. Brigada, eskwela, magkaisa, sama-sama. Brigada, eskwela, salit na buong barkada. Brigada, eskwela, kilos na, magbayanihan na. Brigada, eskwela, kilos na, magbayanihan na. Brigada, magbayanihan na. Sabay-sabayhan na.
Hoy, tara, magklase na ta! Tara, tara! Sige, sige! Let's go!
Kunin na ang radyo, hanapin ang Z-Radio. Halika na at makinig, mag-aaral tayo! Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, makinig, matuto. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, may matutuhan bago. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Davao de Oro, Radyo Z-Eskwela. Umulan man umaraw, edukasyo'y susulong. Kaya halika na, mag-aaral tayo! Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, makinig, matuto. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, may matutuhang bago. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Davao de Oro, Radyo Z-Eskwela.
Handog ng DepEd Davao de Oro, Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya!
Let's go!
Nagasipya gikan sa Bulawan ng probinsya sa Davao de Oro. Kini ang Siguradong Lingaw, Siguradong Kuyaw, 88.5 Z Radio.
This is Z Radio 88.5.
Tara na, brigada na. Brigada, eskwela, magkaisa, sama-sama. Brigada, eskwela, salit na buong barkada. Brigada, eskwela, kilos na, magbayanihan na.
Oras na to karon, it's already 11:48 na po ng umaga, and time check is brought to us by Master Construction and Supplies and Mackenzie Builders. Ayan mga ka-Z-Eskwela, natapos na nating i-air ang atoang first two lesson presentations para sa araw na ito. It means meron pang dalawang natitirang two lesson presentations. And as for a recap po mga ka-Z-Eskwela, we started with the TVL bread and pastry production, prepare dessert, na kung saan si Ma'am Cheryl Absin ay present niya yung paano lutuin ang leche flan. And sinundan niya ng TVL hairdressing NC2. The topic is hair coloring, na ibinigay naman ni Ma'am Jenny P. Aranas coming from Mongkay National High School. Ayan, so tuloy-tuloy pa rin ang ating programa din sa Radyo Z-Eskwela. Siguradong masaya dito sa inyuhang paboritong istasyon, ang Z Radio 88.5 FM. Ang istasyong Siguradong Lingaw, Siguradong Kuyaw. Still, naka-cross-line streaming pa rin tayo sa ating FB pages such as the Z Radio 88.5, DepEd Division of Davao de Oro, and the Radyo Z-Eskwela DepEd Davao de Oro. And of course, I would like to remind once again po yung ating mga learners across the province to notify us with your attendance by filling out our attendance thing po mga ka-Z-Eskwela. And our attendance thing po ay naka-flash yan sa ating mga FB screens. And at the same time po, nakapin din yan sa ating mga comment box sections to our different FB pages. Our attendance link is https://tinyurl.com/Radyo Z-Eskwela June 26. Ayan. So later on po, 12 to 2 p.m. makakasama nyo ang chinitang maestra na nabunturan. Ang akong kauban kung duhami mag-anchor, si Teacher Maymay Resma of Cao National High School. And she will give you the last two lesson presentation for today. Kaya naman sa ating mga TVL Computer System Servicing learners, maghanda na. So that will be our third lesson presentation for this episode. And for our last episode later on, from 1 to 2 p.m. po mga ka-Z-Eskwela, ibibigay ni Ma'am Teacher Maymay ang TVL Agri-Fishery Arts. The topic will be Prepare Composting Site and Raw Materials. And I would like to say thank you once again and congratulations po sa lahat ng ating mga content presenters along with their creative resource material developer for a job well done po sa lahat ng mga lesson presentations na binibigay namin sa inyo. Di jud lalim ang mag-prepare og lesson presentation just like this one here in our radio-based instruction. And of course, our program Radyo Z-Eskwela, Siguradong Masaya, is being brought to us by the Department of Education Division of Davao de Oro and also in partnership with the Z Radio 88.5 FM. It's already 11:52 na po. 8 minutes to go before ako mag-say bye-bye. Again, nais ko lang batiin ang aking mga kasamahan dyan sa Tubar National High School, spearheaded by our school in charge, Sir Rogelio A. Guno. And also, I would like to acknowledge ang mga kaubanan din hikaron sa radio-based instruction na nakasked as the VMix operator. Hi to Sir William Ranara, ang national champion sa music video sa tatapos lang na national competition. Si Sir William ay coming from Nabuntra National Comprehensive High School. And of course, I would like to say congratulations po sa EPS sa MAPE na si Sir Dexter sa Kenya. O sa kinatibuk ang Division of Davao de Oro na ipangunahan ni Ma'am Euphemia T. Gamutin as our SDS for that another big achievement for this school year 2020-2021. And also, I would like to shout out ang amuang SMPT for today. The beautiful, the gorgeous. Tama ba, ma'am? Ma'am Arlene Leia, si Mangohon. She's coming from Pantukan National High School. Layo dyan si ma'am o gigikanan. And sa lahat po ng aming mga kasamahan sa radio-based instruction, medyo din dyan mag-uban-uban dyan kaya naka-skeletal workforce po din sa to ang programa. But still, I'm hoping na magkita-kita tanin nyo puhon-puhon kung may na ang paminsar sa dagan sa panahon. But still, I am praying and hoping for a good health and maayong panglawas sa to ang tanan. And I would like to shout out din po yung RBI directress namin na si Doc Arlene Lim and Ma'am Arlene, Ma'am Noemi Canales as our assistant RBI directress. Hi, Ma'am. And of course, sa itong mga Z-Eskwela learners, mga Zuking tigpaminaw na nakabiyahe karon, amping permi jud sa tanan ninyong mga lakaw. O kung wala jud mo importante na lakaw, of course, please stay at home na lang since this is one way or another protecting ourselves from the pandemic and matabangan po nato itong community na di na jud mo spread out ang virus sa COVID-19. And of course, manatiling sundin ang mga health minimum standards na sunod sa ato ang gobyerno. Face mask, face shield, and always sanitize ourselves from time to time po. It's already 11:54 na po and it's time for me to say bye-bye. And susunod na ang chinitang maestra ng nabunturan. Walay lain, a mother of two, si Teacher Maymay Resma. So abdik kayo ni si Ma'am Maymay Resma. And of course, magkita-kita pa rin tayo next time sa susunod na higayon. I'll be on Monday from 12 to 2. Kasama ko naman si Teacher Maymay Resma. And of course, shout out din sa akong mga kasama ni anchors, Teacher Givin Hinampas of Monte Vista National High School, Sir Judy Lanyu, and Ma'am Donna D. Bolifer, and Nanay Laura Quijano. Hi, Ma'am. Yes. And again, it's already 11:55 na po. And magpapaalam na talaga ako. Mubalik ko pohon-pohon sa susunod na higayon. Ito pa rin ang Radyo Z-Eskwela sa Wiley Patay. Susunod na, Teacher Maymay Resma. And we're here at Z Radio 88.5 FM. Ang istasyong siguradong lingaw. Of course, siguradong kuyaw. Siguradong masaya dinhi sa Radyo Z-Eskwela. Bye-bye and dalago ng Diyos.
Listen to the music and it feels so good. Ay gundang ihangtod, mapapuntagan pero lingaw man pod. Sa balay man o trabaho, bisan na sa man ka mo adto. Giving you the best music, diri lang sa Z-Radio. Kahit ang adlaw siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong tuyaw. Para sa bulawanon na probinsya, sa Z-Radio, tagaan mong lingaw. Kay giving you the best music and everything, that's what make us proud. So turn your radio up, don't stop. Chillin' while tuning sa radio. All day, all night, diri lang sa Z-Radio. Bisan o ka sa pakapadulong, sa balay man o trabaho. Giving you the best music and everything, diri lang sa Z-Radio. Kay ang adlaw siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong tuyaw. Para sa bulawanon na probinsya, Z-Radio. Sa bulawanon na pasibya, Z-Radio. Kay ang adlaw siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong tuyaw. Para sa bulawanon na probinsya, Z-Radio. Sa bulawanon na pagsibya, Z-Radio. Kahit ang adlaw siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong tuyaw. Para sa bulawanon na probinsya, Z-Radio. Sa bulawanon na pagsibya, Z-Radio. Kahit ang adlaw siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong tuyaw. Para sa bulawanon na probinsya, Z-Radio. Sa bulawanon na pagsibya, Z-Radio.
Hoy, tara, magklase na ta! Tara! Sige! Let's go!
Kunin na ang radyo, hanapin ang Z-Radio. Halika na at makinig, mag-aaral tayo! Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, makinig, matuto. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, may matutuhan bago. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Davao de Oro, Radyo Z-Eskwela. Umulan man umaraw, edukasyo'y susulong. Kaya halika na, mag-aaral tayo! Sa Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, makinig matuto. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, may matutuhang bago. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Davao de Oro, Radyo Z-Eskwela.
Handog ng DepEd Davao de Oro, Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya!
Let's go!
Sabay-sabay na babangon, sama-samang ahon, ihanda ang sarili sa hamon. Ipapipigil sa pagsulong sa kinabukasan na katuon, para sa di kalidad na edukasyon.
Balik eskwela na naman, isa puso ang kahandaan. Handang isip, handa bukas, sa pagkakaisa ay may lakas.
Ito na ang normal, online learning at modular. Di na kailangang mag-face-to-face, gamit ng cellphone at radio base. Yakapin na ang pagbabago, kahirapan, kaya natin to. Lakasan ang iyong loob, sa bagong normal, sa bagong mundo. Kristiyano at katutubo, isang hanggarin san patungo. Ipagpatuloy pag-aaral mo, tagumpay ay naghihintay sa'yo.
Balik eskwela na naman, isa puso ang kahandaan. Handang isip, handa bukas, sa pagkakaisa ay may lakas.
Ito na ang new normal, online learning at modular. Di na kailangang mag-face-to-face, gamit ng cellphone at radio base. Yakapin na ang pagbabago, pahirapan, kaya natin to. Lakasan ang iyong loob, sa bagong normal, sa bagong
Isang alang-alang natin ang ating kaligtasan, sa bawat oras at panahon, magpakailanman. Hangat palagi ng ating paaralan, ang matuto, gayon din maging ligtas ang kabataan. Tayo ay magkaisa, halina't sama-sama, kasali lahat, kasama lahat, para sa lahat. Pilipinas, maghanda ka na, balik eskwela na, tara. Tayong lahat, sabay-sabay, pagkakaisa ay may lakas.
Ito na ang new normal, online learning at modular. Di na kailangang mag-face-to-face, gamit ng cellphone at radio base. Yakapin na ang pagbabago, pahirapan, kaya natin to. Lakasan ang iyong loob, sa bagong normal, sa bagong mundo. Sa bagong normal, sa bagong mundo. Sa bagong normal, sa bagong mundo.
Z Radio 88.5.
Check your time. It's already 4 minutes past the hour of 12. Again, atong oras karon mga ka-Z-Eskwela. Alas 12:04 na sa udto. Ayan, our time check po. Isatid po sa atin Vice Governor Maria Carmen Zamora. Isang magandang tanghali sa lahat ng ating mga Zuking listeners along with Davao de Oro. Lakip na usap sa atong mga Zuking tigpaminaw sa silingan nato nga mga lalawigan no nga abot ning atong sibiyahanan. Ako po inyong makakasama as we continue the Saturday edition ng inyong paboritong programa. Ito pa rin po ang Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Right and only here po yan sa Z Radio 88.5. Ang istasyong siguradong lingaw o siguradong kuyaw. At inyo pong nakasama kanina ang maestrong Mawabenyo na si Sir Drew Manuel. At inyo pong napag-usapan itong ating TVL Bread and Pastry Production. Topic was about prepare dessert. And of course, sumunod naman po dyan ang TVL Hairdressing NC2. At ang topic naman po ay ang hair coloring. Ayan, sa mga kakatune in lang. Ayan, so pagpatuloy po natin ang ating programa. Ako po inyong samahan hanggang alas 2 po ng hapong ito. Dalawang lesson presentations pa po ang ating masasaksihan, kaya manatili pa rin kayong naka-tune in dyan. And hopefully, nakapaniod doon ang tanan. Happy lunchtime, mga ka-Z-Eskwela. Magpakabusog po kayo. Don't skip your meal, ha? Ayan, so enjoy your lunch po. At sa atin pong pagpapatuloy, once again, dalawa pa pong lesson presentations ang ating matutunghayan. We have this TVL Computer System Servicing. Atin pong pag-uusapan maya-maya lamang ang testing methods and procedure. At susunod dyan ang TVL Agri-Fishery Arts. And the topic that we'll be talking about is prepare composting site and raw materials. Kaya abang-abang na po kayo. And nais ko lang ding i-acknowledge ang ating mga kasamahan ngayon. Ang ating Team Saturday, we have our VMix operator, Sir William Ranara po. At kasama rin po natin ang isa sa ating mga secretariat na si Miss Irene Leia Simanguhon. Ayan, kami po inyong samahan once again hanggang alas 2 po ng hapong ito. So, kumusta po ang inyong weekend? Happy weekend sa mga naalang karon sa ilahang mga tagsa ka mga panimalay nga gina-enjoy ang ilahang mga off, no? Mga rest day nila, off from work. Ayan, spend quality time po with your families. Okay, so alas 12:07 na po. And para sa inyong mga mensahe, kung meron po kayong mga nais iparating sa amin, just keep it coming. Live na live gihapon kita karon via Facebook Live, mga ki-Z-Eskwela. So we're live at Z Radio 88.5. DepEd tayo, Division of Davao de Oro, o sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, DepEd Davao de Oro. And sa mga dunay gustong balikan ng mga episodes, no, pwede ninyong matanaw, masili pagbalik sa atong YouTube channel. Hopefully po nakasubscribe na mo. Our YouTube channel po is Radyo Z-Eskwela DDO. Again, it's Radyo Z-Eskwela DDO. Okay, so kahit weekend man, tuloy pa rin po ang paghahatid natin ng ating mga lesson presentations. Sabay-sabay po natin yang matutunghayan at sabay-sabay rin po tayong may matututunan sa araw na ito. And without much ado, we shall continue our class for today. Isusunod na po natin ang ating TVL Computer System Servicing at atin pong makakasama as our content presenter. We have Teacher RG Belandres. Pag-uusapan po natin once again ang testing methods and procedure. Alas 12:08 na po. Let's make our Saturday weekend productive here at Radyo Z-Eskwela program through listening and engaging with these skill-citing lesson episodes and technical vocational livelihood. Kaya naman po, tara na, magklase na ta!
Good day, Davao de Oro, and to all Z-Eskwela listeners, especially to the grade 12 CSS students who are listening to us right now, on their radios at home, and joining with us with our Facebook Live. I am your teacher presenter, RG Belandres, from Kamanlagan National High School. Good day, CSS Senior High School students. We are on air at 88.5 Z Radio. How are you doing today? Wow, you are all doing great. That's good to know. Join me as we will be together for 1 hour. So ready yourself for today's radio-based instruction. Alright, please find a suitable area and make yourself comfortable. Before we begin with our new topic, let us first have a quick review of the previous lesson. In our previous lesson, you have learned occupational health and safety procedures. We have the following. Read and follow instructions on the manual carefully. Always power off and unplug the computer before working on it. Take off any metal objects in your arms or in your fingers, such as bracelets, rings, or watches. Handle all parts with care. If a component does not come out easily, do not use excessive force. Next, make sure that the pins are properly aligned when connecting a cable connector. Followed by, take away any liquid such as mineral water or soft drinks near your working area or near your computer. Personal protective equipment is correctly used in accordance with organization, OHS procedures, and practice. Hazard or risk in a workplace and their corresponding indicators are identified to minimize or eliminate risk to co-workers. Take necessary precautions to protect the components of the computer from damages caused by electrostatic discharge. And do not touch the IC. So those are the occupational health and safety policies and procedures in computer system servicing. We also discussed motherboard selection criteria. Here are the following list. We have number 1, motherboard chipset. Before buying, compare the features of the available chipsets to ensure that the board will do what you want. For example, some chipsets include support for faster memory, PCIe, and other cards. We have the SATA cards or the SATA drive and the optional RAID capabilities. We have number 2, processor socket. Check the motherboard specification for what specific processor are supported by a given motherboard. Number 3, memory. Most motherboards today support either DDR2, DDR3, and DDR4 memory in either single, dual, or triple channel operation. The number of memory sockets, supported speed, and other variables also depend on the motherboard. So to check the board specification to see exactly what is supported. Number 4, form factor. The form factor indicates the size and shape of the board and must be compatible with the chassis or case and power supply. For maximum flexibility, performance, reliability, and ease of use, motherboards based on the ATX and micro ATX form factors are recommended. 5. Bus slots. Make sure the board you choose has the number of types of slots you require. Keep in mind that PCI is fading away on the latest motherboards. So if you want to use existing PCI cards, make sure you choose a motherboard that has enough PCI slots or has integrated ports that replace the functionality of your PCI cards. Number 6. Onboard ATA interfaces. All motherboards on the market have included onboard serial and parallel ATA interfaces for some time now, but not all are equal. Check the ATA interfaces. 7. Other built-in interfaces. Ideally, a motherboard should contain as many built-in standard controllers and interfaces as possible. Most boards features integrated USB, sound, and LAN, whereas others also have integrated video, FireWire, eSATA, dual LAN adapter, and more. So those are the motherboard selection criteria. Our discussion today will focus on maintaining and repairing computer systems and networks of Lesson 11 of Computer System Servicing. We have the topic testing methods and procedures, lesson objectives, basic troubleshooting and checking of computer devices, and testing electronic components. Let's discuss. We have the proper replacement of computer components. So how do we replace computer parts? We have things to consider before replacing any parts of the computer system. We have number 1, compatibility of components. Always determine the type, the model, and the kind of device you wanted to be replaced. Next, components specification. Check the minimum and the maximum requirements of your computer. Number 3, the form factor. Compatibility of the components. Check manufacturer manual for compatibility issue. Component specification. This focuses on the specification of the component. Check if the voltage rating, current rating, memory size, and frequency matches your computer unit. Next, form factor. The component's manufacturer should be considered. Branded units have its own set of components compatibility only to their units, while generic types can be used only to generic type of units. So we have the list of devices that can be upgraded inside our computer system unit or computer. So what are those things that can be replaced or upgraded? We have number 1, the memory or the RAM. We also have the video card, the network interface card, the hard drive, the motherboard, and the processor. We have general safety tips and reminders. We have number 1, observe good housekeeping in the area of the machine during and after maintenance. Place the electronic components in an anti-static mat. Next, keep your tool case away from the walking area so that other people will not trip over it. Always wear PPE while working on the machine or components. Next, discharge static electricity before working any electronic components. Do this by holding any metal surface in the machine or hold the power supply for about 15 seconds. We have 5 signs and symptoms that your RAM or your memory is about to fail. We have number 1, diminishing performance. One of the most telltale signs of a bad memory is the diminishing performance over time. If you find that your computer is running perfectly after the first power up, but the longer you use it, the slower it becomes, you could be in trouble. The problem will be especially noticeable on memory-intensive apps, such as the Photoshop, the complex video games, and web browser. Number 2, random crashes. Like the point on performance degradation, just because your computer randomly crashes does not necessarily mean that your RAM is faulty. However, it does point to the possibility that it might be faulty. For example, if you get the blue screen of death on Windows every time you try and open a certain apps, it is likely that the app is the culprit rather than your hardware. But if you find that the crashes occur without warning and at random times, your RAM could be responsible. Next, video card fails to load. When you turn on your computer, you'll always hear a loud beep It indicates that your device or video and media hardware has been correctly recognized and booted. If you don't hear a beep, it means not loaded. And bad RAM could be the cause. Corrupted data files. You might suddenly find that files which you access and use frequently are corrupted and cannot be opened. Next, incorrect system RAM display. Basic computer repair and troubleshooting. We have the first issue. No display. When you turn on your computer, you get no display and the screen remains blank. Common error, defective memory or bad memory. We have the beep codes, series of long beeps. Troubleshooting tips. Unplug the power cord, open the system unit cover, discharge static electricity. 4. Remove the memory. Use pencil eraser to clean the memory gold mark. After that, test the memory in different memory slots. If the problem still occurs, you need to replace the memory. Stay tuned and we will be right back.
The Radyo Z-Eskwela program of the Division of Davao de Oro is being brought to you by Nueda Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated, Maverick Builders Incorporated, Mitch Construction and Supply, Archicons Architectural Construction and Supply, DB Construction and Supply, Hanaway Builders Corporation, Phoenix Corvada Tagum Gasoline Station, Master Construction and Supplies, Mackenzie Builders, GP&H Construction Incorporated, Metro Gear Construction Corporation, NEN Builders and Development Services Corporation, Max Mays Enterprises Incorporated, We In Construction Company, Rangay Construction and Supply, East Sussex Enterprise, WM Construction, Councilor Boogie and Miss Marjorie Vertodazo, Icon Builders and Supply, and Apex Mining Company Incorporated.
We're back, learners! Next, how do we identify defective processor? Open the system unit, remove the CPU fan, then touch the surface of the processor while turning on the computer. If the processor temperature remains low or cold, then it is defective. It should increase the heat since no fan is installed. Again, wait for about 30 seconds or 1 minute. If the processor remains low or cold, then it is defective. Solution: replace the processor. Next, how do we identify defective power supply? Remove all Molex connection from the power supply. Place the power cord on your power supply source. Use a pin or a paper clip. Sharpen the paper clip, then attach the paper clip to the power supply connector for motherboard. Insert the pin in color green and color black, starting from the right side. Now, plug in the power cord to the power source. So how do we identify defective motherboard? Make sure you have a speaker attached in your motherboard. Number 1, remove memory. Number 2, if you don't hear any sound from your speaker, then it is possible that your motherboard is defective. Check the capacitor if burned or the caps are expanded. Replace the motherboard if necessary. Next, how to identify defective video card. Symptoms: 1 long beep followed by 2 short beeps. Solution: replace the video card. Next problem. The monitor is blinking. The monitor button turns orange or blue. No display and a series of beeps after turning on the computer. Solution: clean the RAM pins using a razor, then transfer the RAM to another memory slot. If the problem occurs, then you have to replace your memory. One long beep followed by two short beeps in a system unit. We have the defective parts is the video card. Solution: replace the video card. No power and no display. Problem: possible problem is a defective power supply. Solution: replace power supply with the same wattage. Next problem: the computer freezes during boot up. Possible error and solution. It could be the possible problem is a corrupted operating system. Solution: restore system using system restore, or reformat or program the computer. Next, operating system contains virus or viruses. Solution: reprogram the computer. Or it could be corrupted operating system. Solution: use safe mode or press F8 when the computer restarts or after turning on the PC. Then perform check disk in the command prompt. Another problem: computer freezes during post. Possible error and solution: defective hard disk drive. Solution: replaced hard disk drive or reprogram the operating system. Next, boot order is set to USB or removable device. Solution: change the first boot order to hard disk drive, or it could be a defective input-output device. Solution: try to replace another input-output device. Printer, next problem. Printer cannot print a file. Possible problem: printer driver were not installed correctly. Solution: reinstall the driver. Another problem: printer cable is unplugged or not connected. Solution: check and plug in the cable. Now let's talk about digital multimeter. A digital multimeter is divided into three parts. We have the display, the selection dial, and the port. Display: the LCD screen present on the upper portion of the multimeter basically displays 4 or more digits and shows a negative value if necessary. A few of today's multimeter have illuminated the display for better viewing in low light situations. Selection dial: it allows the user to set the multimeter or the multimeter tester to read different electrical parameters such as milliamps of currents, voltage, resistance, capacitance, and etc. You can easily turn the dial anywhere for specific parameter measures. And so we have the ports. 2 ports are available in the front of every multimeter except in some 4 are divided for measuring current and MA or A. Different ports in multimeter are, we have COM. It stands for common and is almost connected to ground or considered as a V connection of the circuit. We generally insert the black color probe into a COM port. Letter B is we have MAV ohms. This port allows the measurement of current up to 200 milliamperes. Voltage and resistance are considered as a positive V connection of the circuit. We generally insert the red color of the probe into MAV ohm ports. We have the red lead connected to voltage resistance or ampere ports, considered as a positive V connection of the circuit. Black lead is connected to a common or ground port, is considered as a negative V connection of the circuit. We have the digital multimeter safety precautions. Number 1, if the digital multimeter test leads are damaged, then never use the meter. 2, always ensure that the test leads and dials are in the right position for the desired measurement. 3. When a test lead is plugged into a 10A or 300 mA input jack, never touch the probes to a voltage source. 4. When power is applied, never measure resistance in a circuit. 5. While making measurement, always keep your fingers behind the finger guards to test the probes. To avoid damages or injury, never use a meter in a circuit that exceeds 4,800 watts. 7. Replace the battery as soon as possible to avoid false reading, which could lead to possible electric shock or personal injury. 8. Be careful when working with voltage using 60 VDC or 30 VAC RMS. Such voltage or voltages pose a shock hazard. We have the essential electronic components and their function. We have the resistors. A resistor is one of the components you will know across in an integrated circuit. Like the name suggests, the device resists the flow of current. Resistors are graded based on their power ratings, the amount of power they can handle without exploding, and resistance values, capacity to resist current. The measurement is done in units known as ohms. The electronic symbol of the units is O. 2. Capacitors. These components can store electricity. The components come in different varieties, with the most common ones being electrolytic and ceramic disc. The capacity of the component is usually measured in microfarads. Diodes. Diodes allow electric current to flow in a single direction only. Each diode has two terminals known as the anode and the cathode. When the anode is charged with a positive voltage and the cathode with a negative one, electric current can flow. Reversing this voltage will prevent the current from flowing. Transistors. These components are easily to identify through three terminals. For the components to work, voltage has to apply to one of them, the base terminal. The base can then control current flow to the two terminals, the emitter and collector. Next, inductors. These are passive components that stores energy in form of magnetic field. An inductor simply consists of a coil of wire with around some kind of core. The core could be magnet or air. When current passes through the inductor, a magnetic field is created around it. The magnetic field is stronger if a magnet is used as a core. Integrated circuits. An integrated circuit refers to a special device that has all the components required in the electronic circuit. Microcontrollers. Microcontrollers are small computers used to control a multitude of devices, such as power tools, remote controls, medical equipment, and office machines. Transformers. Built with two coils of wire, transformers are commonly used to step up or step down powers. Batteries. Batteries convert chemical energy to electrical energy. The two different cells of battery are anode and cathode. Fuse or fuses. Fuses helps to prevent components from overloading with excessive current. A fuse consists of connection body, support, contacts, and metal fuse such as zinc or copper. Relays. These electromechanical switches shut power on or off. A relay includes an electromagnet, an armature, a series of electrical contacts, and spring. Switches. Switches interrupts current. The four types of switches are single pole, single throw, single pole double throw, double pole single throw, and double pole double throw. Motors. Motors convert electrical energy into mechanical energy. Key components includes a rotor, stators, bearings, conduit box, enclosures, and eye-bolts. Circuit breakers. As a protective device, a circuit breaker can be controlled with a remote switch. It is designed to protect the circuit from overloading or a short circuit. How to measure AC and DC current using digital multimeter. Steps. First, inside the comb jack, insert the black lid. Second, inside the MA jack, insert the red lid. Turn the dial to a current function. Next, connect the black probe to the negative end of the battery. Next, connect the red probe to the positive end of the battery. Set AC or DC current as per your requirement. Next, connect firstly the black lid to the circuit and after that the red lid. Next, press specific button gave on the multimeter to measure. Note the measurement display on the screen. When you have noted the readings, first remove the red lid from the circuit and then remove the black lid to avoid any electric shock or damage to the device. How to test continuity with a digital multimeter. Steps. Inside the comb jack, insert the black lid. Now, inside the MA jack or the milliampere jack, insert the red lid. Turn the dial to continuity function. Place the probes at the two ends of the material that you want to check for continuity. Connect firstly the black lid to the circuit and after that the red lid. Now if you hear the beep sound, then the circuit connected is closed circuit. It is conducted, otherwise it is an open circuit. Stay tuned and we will be right back.
The Radyo Z-Eskwela program of the Division of Davao de Oro is being brought to you by Nueda Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated, Maverick Builders Incorporated, Mitch Construction and Supply, Archicons Architectural Construction and Supply, DB Construction and Supply, Hanaway Builders Corporation, Phoenix Corvada Tagum Gasoline Station, Master Construction and Supplies, Mackenzie Builders, GP&H Construction Incorporated, Metro Gear Construction Corporation, NEN Builders and Development Services Corporation, Max Mays Enterprises Incorporated, We Inc. Construction Company, Rangay Construction and Supply, East Sussex Enterprise, WM Construction, Councilor Boogie and Miss Marjorie Vertodazo, Icon Builders and Supply, and Apex Mining Company Incorporated.
We're back, learners! Let us check your understanding. So please prepare a clean sheet of paper. We will have a formative test or assessment. Direction: write the letter of the correct answer. We have a multiple choice test. Number 1. Allow electric current to flow in a single direction only. Again, Allow electric current to flow in a single direction. A. Capacitor. B. Transistor. C. Resistor. Or D. Diode. Again, number 1. It allows electric current to flow in a single direction. A. Capacitor. B. Transistor. C. Resistor. Or D. Diode. Number 2. For the components to work, voltage must be applied to one of them, the base terminal. The base then controls the current flow in the two other terminals, the emitter and the collector. A. Capacitor. B. Transistor. C. Resistor. Or D. Diode. Again, number 2. For the components to work, voltage must be applied for one of them, the base terminal. The base then controls the current flow in the two other terminals, the emitter and the collector. A. Capacitor. B. Transistor. C. Resistor. Or D. Diode. 3. Electronic component consists of the coil of wire with around its core. Again, electronic components consist of a coil of wire with around its core. A. IC. B. Transformer. C. Inductor. Or D. Capacitor. Again, A. IC. B. Transformer. C. Inductor. Or D. Capacitor. 4. These components can store electric charge temporarily. The components come in different varieties, with the most common one being used is electrolytic and ceramic disc. We have A. Capacitor. B. Transistor. B. Transistor. Or C. Resistor. And D. Diode. Again, these components can store electric charge temporarily. The components come in different varieties, with the most common ones being used as electrolytic and ceramic disc. A. Capacitor. B. Transistor. C. Resistor. Or D. Diode. 5. Built with two coils of wire, transformers are commonly used to step up or step down power. A. Capacitor. B. Transistor. C. Resistor. Or D. Transformer. Again, number 5. Built with two coils of wire, transformers are commonly used to step up or step down power. A. Capacitor. B. Transistor. C. Resistor. Or D. Transformer. Let's check your work against the answer key. Number 1, letter D. 2, letter B. 3, letter C. 4, letter A. And 5, letter D. Who among you got perfect? Very good! How about those students who got low passing score? Good! Nothing to worry about. Once again, congratulations! You can put your comments, suggestions, and questions on our Facebook page. See you in the next session. I am teacher RJ Belandres from Kamanlangan National High School for Class on the Air in Grade 12 CSS NC2. Bye-bye!
Radyo Z-Eskwela Executive and Technical Working Committee. The school's division superintendent, Euphemia T. Gamutin, CESO 5. Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Romel R. Handayan. Curriculum Implementation Division OIC Chief, Dr. Arlene B. Lim. School Governance and Operations Division, Dr. Ruben J. Riponte. Program Director, Dr. Arlene B. Lim. Assistant Program Director, Noemi P. Canales. Members, Cecilia Morales, Dr. Hilda A. Opeña, Dr. Eldecris B. Calzadora, Dr. Dexter A. Sikinia, Nohara O. Pinute, Dr. Grace D. Pontillas, Dr. Renato N. Pakpakin, Dr. Andy P. Cabodok, Juanito Lapiceros, Engineer Norberto S. Manlangit, Ryan Villanueva, Jomar M. Dumupoy, Bob Daylan S. Milabat, Medard D. Apit, and Paz Eugenia Villusino. Technical Working Committee, Production and Communications, Lorely E. Quijano, Given G. Hinampas, Judiland T. U, Donna D. T. Bolivar, Mary Rose N. Resma, Riwen C. Manuel, Irene Lea C. Manguhon, and Bessie Aya N. Banyes. Social Media and Packaging Team, Christian Anhara L. Martesio, William R. Ranara, Joan T. Iscoton, Roberto S. Acusar Jr., May B. Istaniol, Richard H. Arellano, Ralph A. Tabanyag, Angelo C. Gutierrez Jr., Jade Karen R. Arais, Eliza May Garsuta, Sedi S. Caballero, and Jane S. Caballero. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Right and only here at Z Radio 88.5, ang istasyong siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw.
Na ang radyo, hanapin ang Z-Radio. Halika na at makinig, mag-aaral tayo! Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, makinig, matuto. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, may matutuhan bago. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Davao de Oro, Radyo Z-Eskwela. Umaraw, edukasyo'y susulong. Kaya, halika na, mag-aaral tayo! Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, makinig matuto. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, may matutuhang bago. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Davao de Oro, Radyo Z-Eskwela.
Handog ng DepEd Davao de Oro, Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya!
Let's go!
Z Radio 88.5.
And yes, we are back mga ka-Z-Eskwela, alas 12:48 na po ng hapon. Again, 12:48 na po ang ating oras ngayon. And time check sa itong gihapon ka nato ni Vice Governor Maria Carmen Zamora. Ayan, so once again, hopefully nakapaniud to na ang tanan. And so wala pa na ngaon, hala paniud to na mo. Ayaw intawan magpapas mo. Yes, so ladies and gentlemen, we have just witnessed our third lesson presentation. For today's episode po, ang ating TVL Computer System Servicing at atin pong napag-usapan ang testing methods and procedure. And with that, nais po nating i-congratulate at pasalamatan po si Teacher RG Belandres. Ayan, thank you so much Teacher RG and congratulations po sa iyo. Okay, so alas 12:49 po. And bago tayo magpatuloy, nais muna nating batiin at pasalamatan ang ating mga program sponsors. We have Nueda Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated, Maverick Builders Incorporated, Mitch Construction and Supply, Archicons Architectural Construction and Supply, DB Construction and Supply, Kanaway Builders Corporation, Phoenix Curvada Tagum Gasoline Station, Master Construction and Supplies, Mackenzie Builders, and GPNH Construction Incorporated. Ayan, so once again, tapos na po tayo sa ating first 3 lesson presentations po. Isa na lamang po ang natitira para makumpleto na natin ang ating episode for today. So again, we're done with the TVL Bread and Pastry Production. The topic was about prepare dessert. Tapos na rin po tayo sa ating TVL Hairdressing NC2. And the topic was also about hair coloring at TVL Computer System Servicing po, testing methods and procedure. So mga ka-Z-Eskwela, manatili pa rin nakatune in sa inyong paboritong radio station, ang Z-Radio 88.5. Ug sa tuang pagbalik, dunga natong masaksihan our last lesson presentation patungkol po sa TVL Agri-Fishery Arts. Only here po yan sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. At tayo po'y muling magbabalik makatapos ang ilang paalala.
Z-Radio! 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 Z-Radio!
Z-Radio 88.5. Siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw.
Laging handa! Laging handa! Baha, tagtuyot, sunog, lindol, bagyo. Mga kalamidad na likas sa ating mundo. Napapahamak ang buhay at kabuhayan. Kaya naman kailangan ngang paghandaan.
Maging handa, maging alerto. Tungkulin to ng bawat mamamayan. Kaya tara na, kilos na, lika na, tumulong tayo. Gawin na po ang karapat-dapat na maging laging handa. Tara na, kilos na, lika na, tumulong tayo. Gawin na po ang karapat-dapat na maging laging handa. Laging handa.
Kalamidad ay maaasahang darating.
Sa di inaasahang oras.
Kaya naman hindi na dapat hintayin. Unahan na habang di pa natataranta.
Maging handa, maging alerto. Tungkulin to ng bawat mamamayan. Kaya tara na, kilos na, lika na, tumulong tayo. Gawin na po ang karapat-dapat na maging laging handa. Tara na, kilos na, lika na, tumulong tayo. Gawin na po ang karapat-dapat na maging laging handa. Suriin mo mabuti ang iyong kapaligiran. Saan ka pa nakatira? Diyan ba ay bumabaha? Tuwing gamot pagkain, kumot pang sindi, first aid kit. Mga gamit panligtas ng buhay dapat mabitbit. At sakaling lumindol o sumabog ang bulkan, meron bang matagdaanan palayo sa kasawian? Panahon na ay malupit at ang hangin hagupit. Mabuti na lang na tayo ay laging nakahanda. Tara na, kilos na, lika na, tumulong tayo. Gawin na po ang karapat-dapat na maging laging handa. Tara na, kilos na, lika na, tumulong tayo. Gawin na po ang karapat-dapat na maging laging handa.
This message was brought to you by the Department of Education with the support of World Vision Development Foundation.
tulungan, walang kupas na kaugalian. Tatag at tibay, sinasabuhay, galak sa puso ay walang kapantay. Panahon na naman ang brigada, pagbigisin lakas at diwa. Tara na brigada na, brigada, eskwela, magkaisa sama-sama. Brigada, eskwela, salin na buong barkada. Brigada, eskwela, kilos na, magbayanihan na. Ikaw ako, tayong lahat, hawak kamay, sabay-sabay, kapit-bisig, buong bayan. Tara na, kumilos na. Tulong-tulong sa pagsulong, hatid na kalidad sa edukasyon. Sa kabataan, saya at dunong, buong madla sabay na aahon. Panahon na naman ng brigada, pagbigisin lakas at diwa. Tara na brigada na, brigada, eskwela, magkaisa sama-sama. Brigada, eskwela, salit na buong barkada. Brigada, eskwela, kilos na, magbayanihan na. Brigada, eskwela, kilos na, magbayanihan na. Brigada, magbayanihan na. Sabay-sabayhan na.
Katambalan ng pag-ahon, isang bansang puso ay pinag-iisa.
Nang diing, lahat tayo'y uunlad at aangat.
Hilyan tayo, kabrigada, diwa ng bayanihan, atin ang hanggang simula. Man ang mararating, mananatiling tayo ay magkasangga. Dahil sa tuwing kasama ka, kabayan at kabrigada, lahat ang ika'y gawin, bigat ay kayang buhatin. Ito ang pusong brigada, paaral ay pinapaganda. Pusong brigada, eskwela, walang iwanan tayo.
Paaralan, tinatawag na tahanan.
Aalagaan, patuloy pagyamanin, kulay at yanig, panatilihin natin. Kapit lang,
Sama-sama,
walang iwanan,
mananatiling magkasangga.
langit ay kakampiling natin. Ano man ang mararating, mananatiling tayo ay magkasangga. Dahil sa tuwing kasama ka, kabayan at kabrigada, lahat ay kayang gawin, bigat ay kayang buhatin. Pusong brigada, eskwela, walang iwanan tayo. Walang iwanan tayo. Laging handa. Laging handa. Bahatag tuyot, sunog, lindol, bagyo, mga kalamidad na likas sa ating mundo. Napapahamak ang buhay at kabuhayan, kaya naman kailangan ngang paghandaan.
Maging handa, maging alerto, tungkulin to ng bawat mamamayan. Kaya tara na, kilos na, lika na, tumulong tayo. Gawin na po ang karapat-dapat na maging laging handa. Tara na, kilos na, lika na, tumulong tayo. Gawin na po di inaasahang oras.
Kaya naman hindi na dapat hintayin. Unahan na habang di pa natataranta.
Maging handa, maging alerto. Tungkulin to ng bawat mamamayan. Kaya tara na, kilos na, lika na, tumulong tayo. Gawin na po ang karapat-dapat nang maging laging handa. Tara na, kilos na, lika na, tumulong tayo. Gawin na po ang karapat-dapat nang maging laging handa. Suriin mo mabuti ang iyong kapaligiran. Saan ka pa nakatira? Diyan ba ay bumabaha? Tuwing gamot, pagkain, kumot, pang sindi, first aid kit. Mga gamit panligtas ng buhay dapat mabitbit. At sakaling lumindol o sumabog ang bulkan, meron bang matagdaanan palayo sa kasawian? Panahon na ay malupit at ang hangin hagupit. Mabuti na lang na tayo ay laging nakahanda. Tara na, kilos na, lika na, tumulong tayo. Gawin na po ang karapat-dapat na maging laging handa. Tara na, kilos na, lika na, tumulong tayo. Gawin na po ang karapat-dapat na maging laging handa.
This message was brought to you by the Department of Education with the support of World Vision Development Foundation.
Saludo, saludo, saludo ako sa'yo. Saludo, saludo, saludo ako sa'yo. Di mo alintana mga batikos at pangungutya, lalong-lalo na sa panahon ng pandemya. Ika'y di sumusuko, lumalaban at nangangako, maihatid pa rin ang serbisyong totoo. Para sa kabataan, ginagawa ang lahat, maibigay lang ang edukasyong karapat-dapat. Kaya't ang awit kong ito ialay ko sa'yo. Deped ako'y saludo sa'yo sa katapatan mo sa Pilipino. Ngayong kaarawan mo, tanggapin mo ang pagpupugay ko. O deped ako'y saludo sa'yo. Saludo, saludo, saludo ako sa'yo. Ika'y pinangungunahan ng isang superwoman. Walang iba, Madam Leonor Briones lang naman. Sa ngalan ng serbisyo, dedikasyon sa trabaho, pagmamahal ng isang ina, nararamdaman ko. Ikaw ang humuhubog sa aming kinabukasan. Laging inuuna ang kapakanan ng kabataan. Kaya't ang awit kong ito ialay ko sa'yo. Deped ako'y saludo sa'yo sa katapatan mo sa Pilipino. Ngayong kaarawan mo, tanggapin mo
saludo sa'yo. Saludo, saludo, saludo ako sa'yo. Saludo, saludo, saludo ako sa'yo.
Radyo Z-Eskwela Executive and Technical Working Committee. The school's division superintendent, Eufemia T. Gamutin Seso 5. Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Romel R. Handayan. Curriculum Implementation Division OIC Chief, Dr. Arlene B. Lim. School Governance and Operations Division, Dr. Ruben J. Riponte. Program Director, Dr. Arlene B. Lim. Assistant Program Director, Noemi P. Canales. Members, Cecilia Morales, Dr. Hilda A. Opeña, Dr. Eldecris B. Calzadora, Dr. Dexter A. Siquinia, Nohara O. Pinute, Dr. Grace D. Pontillas, Dr. Renato M. Pakpakin, Dr. Andy P. Cabodok, Juanito Lapiceros, Engineer Norberto S. Manlangit, Ryan Villanueva, Jomar M. Dumupoy, Bob Daylan S. Milabat, Medard D. Apit, and Paz Eugenia Villusino. Technical Working Committee, Production and Communications, Lorely E. Quijano, Given G. Hinampas, Judiland T. Yu, Donna D. T. Bolifer, Mary Rose N. Resma, Riwen C. Manuel, Irene Lea C. Manguhon, and Bessie Aya N. Banyes. Social Media and Packaging Team, Christian Anhara L. Martesio, William R. Lanara, Joan T. Iscoton, Roberto S. Acusar Jr., May B. Istaniol, Richard H. Arellano, Ralph A. Tabanyag, Angelo C. Gutierrez Jr., Jade Karen R. Arais, Eliza May Garsuta, Sedi S. Caballero, and Jane S. Caballero. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Right and only here at Z Radio 88.5, ang istasyong siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw.
Pre, unsa din ang 88.5?
Z Radio.
Unsa man po ng Z Radio?
88.5.
Ah, kuyaw, oy!
Ma 88.5 o Z Radio man, kamo naminaw sa Siguradong Lingaw, Siguradong Kuyaw, Z Radio 88.5.
Adlaw siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong kuyaw, para sa bulawan na probinsya. Z Radio, sa bulawan na pagsibya. Z Radio. Sugdata ang adlaw with a smile. Tune in na sa radio, in alive. Bisan na sa man good, listen to the music and it feels so good. Ay gundang ihangtod, may papuntagan pero lingaw man pod. Sa balay man o trabaho, bisan na sa man ka mo adto. Giving you the best music, diri lang sa Z Radio. Kahit ang adlaw siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong kuyaw, para sa bulawan na probinsya. Z Radio, sa bulawan na pagsibya. Z Radio, kahit ang adlaw siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong kuyaw, para sa bulawan na probinsya. Z Radio, sa bulawan na pagsibya. Z Radio, don't stop. Sa Z Radio, tagaan mong lingaw, kay giving you the best music and everything, that's what make us proud. So turn your radio up, don't stop. Chillin' while tune in sa radio, all day, all night. Diri lang sa Z Radio. Isa no gasa pa kapadulong, sa balay man o trabaho. Giving you the best music and everything. Biring lang sa Z-Radio. Kahit ang adlaw siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong tuyaw. Para sa Bulawanon na probinsya, Z-Radio. Sa Bulawanon nga pasibya, Z-Radio. Kahit ang adlaw siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong tuyaw. Para sa Bulawanon nga probinsya, Z-Radio. Sa Bulawanon nga pasibya.
Z-Radio 88.5.
Oras po natin ngayon, 1:11 na po ng hapon. Again, 1:11 na po. And time check asatid pa rin po sa atin ng Nueda Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated. And we are na the final hour po ng ating programa. Nga pala, nais nating i-encourage ang ating mga madlang learners to kindly notify us with your attendance po. Bukas po ang ating link hanggang 2:00 po ng hapong ito. And for our link, naka-flash po yan sa ating mga screen, nakapin naman po sa ating mga comment boxes. https://tinyurl.com/Radyo Z-Eskwela June 26. Again, it's https://tinyurl.com/Radyo Z-Eskwela June 26. Ayan, hihintayin po namin ang inyong mga responses. 1:12 na po, and we shall now proceed para po sa ating huling lesson presentation para po sa araw na ito. So, tatalakayin natin itong TVL Agri-Fishery Arts, and the topic will be about prepare composting site and raw materials. At sasamahan po tayo ng ating content presenter na si Teacher Cherish May A. Asuncion. Manatili pa rin po nakatune in sa inyong paboritong programa. Ito pa rin po ang Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. And let's make our Saturday weekend productive here at Z-Radio 88.5 through listening and engaging with these skill-citing lesson episodes in technical, vocational, livelihood. Kaya naman po, tara na, magklase na ta!
Listening at 88. Good morning. You're still listening at 88.5 Z Radio. Siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw. Sa programang Radyo Z-Eskwela, kung saan ang pag-aaral ay laging kasiya-siya. For this morning, we're going to have another session in Organic Agriculture Production in C2. By the way, I'm your teacher for today, Teacher Cherise, from the haven of top performers and future leaders, San Miguel National High School. The third core competency in organic agriculture production is to produce organic fertilizers. This competency covers the knowledge, skills, and attitude required to produce organic fertilizers. For this morning, we are going to discuss the first task included in producing organic fertilizer: to prepare composting area and raw materials. But before we proceed, let us see first the objectives for today. So at the end of the lesson, 90% of the learners will be able to: first, identify different compost materials for organic fertilizers, as well as identify factors in selecting composting site. Second, gather materials for organic fertilizer based on production requirements and PNS, or the Philippine National Standard. And third, show interest on the topic by choosing the right compost materials for organic fertilizers. So learners, are you now ready? Kindly get your paper and ball pen so we can start. Do you have your paper and ball pen now? Very good. So let's have the pre-test. Instruction. Read each item carefully. Write the correct answers in your notebook. Let us determine how much you already know about composed materials. I will read each question twice and I will give you 5 seconds to answer after giving you the last option. Number 1. A composed materials that decompose slowly. Again, a composed materials that decompose slowly. A. Cardboard. B. Corn cobs. C. Diseased plants. And D. Lime. The correct answer is yes, letter A and B. So let's proceed with number 2. Vegetable scraps, coffee grounds and filter, paper, cardboard and yard clipping are example of. Again, vegetable scraps, coffee grounds and filter, paper, cardboard and yard clippings are example of A. Organic scraps, B. Compost pile, C. Compost, and D. All of the above. The correct answer is letter A. Those are examples of organic scraps. Number 3. What should be added to cardboard to speed up decomposition? Again, what should be added to cardboard to speed up decomposition? A. Oil and vinegar. B. Oil and detergent. C. Water and vinegar. And D. Water and detergent. The correct answer is D. Water and detergent. Number 4. This composed material highly absorb moisture and slow to decompose. Again, this composed material highly absorbs moisture and slow to decompose. A. Wood chips. B. Coconut husk. C. Peat moss. And D. Wood ashes. The correct answer is C. Peat moss. Number 5. It is the process of transforming organic materials of plant or animal into humus in heaps or pits. Again, it is the process of transforming organic materials of plant or animals into humus in heaps or pits. A. Composting. B. Decompose. C. Fertilization. And D. Pollination. The correct answer is A. Composting. What score did you get? Wow! I'm glad that with all your scores, you have some knowledge already about composting and raw materials. And now, Kindly set your paper and ballpen aside and get your module. Please open your module on page 8. And we're going to discuss how to prepare composting area and raw materials. Imagine you see an old tree that has fallen into the forest, or a banana stalk fallen into the ground. Most likely, that banana stalk would be breaking apart and have other organisms growing on it or in it. What would you see or be observing is the process of decomposition, which is the breakdown of materials. Decomposition is also often referred to as decay or rot. So to formally start with our discussion, let us define first what is composting. So composting is the natural process of recycling organic matter, such as leaves and food scraps, into a valuable fertilizer that can enrich soil and plants. The resulting decomposed matter, which often ends up looking like a fertile garden soil, is called compost. Compost is rich in nutrients and can be used for gardening, horticulture, and agriculture. So when we say composting, it is a form of waste disposal where organic waste decomposes naturally under oxygen-rich conditions. Although all waste will eventually decompose, only certain waste items are considered compostable and should be added to compost containers. So that's why we have the biodegradable waste, wherein most likely this waste can be considered as compostable waste. So to put it simply, composting breaks down organic matter, which is anything that was once living. This means you are recycling vital nutrients so you can use them to improve the quality of your soil.
The Radyo Z-Eskwela program of the Division of Davao de Oro is being brought to you by Nueda Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated, Maverick Builders Incorporated, Mitch Construction and Supply, Archicons Architectural Construction and Supply, DB Construction and Supply, Hanaway Builders Corporation, Phoenix Corvada Tagum Gasoline Station, Master Construction and Supplies, Mackenzie Builders, GP&H Construction Incorporated, Metro Gear Construction Corporation, NEN Builders and Development Services Corporation, Max Mays Enterprises Incorporated, We Inc. Construction Company, Rangay Construction and Supply, East Sussex Enterprise, WM Construction, Councilor Boogie and Miss Marjorie Vertodazo, Icon Builders and Supply, and Apex Mining Company Incorporated.
So let us now proceed with the basics of composting, or what are the materials, what are the things to be considered in composting. So there are 5 main areas that must be controlled during composting. First, the feedstock and nutrient balance. So in composting, when we say feedstock, this refers to the organic raw materials that are added in the composting process. Composting or controlled decomposition requires a proper balance of green organic materials and brown organic materials in order to achieve the balanced diet that the compost organisms requires. So what do we mean when we say greens and browns feedstocks? Greens are compost materials that are green and moist, like kitchen waste, grass cuttings, and the like. Greens are high in nitrogen, which microbes need to make proteins. Browns are compost materials that are brown and dry. Examples are sawdust, dried leaves, straw, and small twigs, and others. Browns are high in carbon, which for microbes is an energy food, or they act as food source for decomposers, helping to keep them alive while they break down waste. Obtaining the right nutrient mix requires experimentation and patience. It is part of the art and science of composting. If you add about 3 parts of brown to 1 part of green, then the compost organisms will have a balanced diet. The second part or area to be considered or controlled is the particle size. Grinding, chipping, and shredding materials increases the surface area on which microorganisms can feed. Smaller particles also produce a more homogeneous compost mixture and improve pile insulation to help maintain optimum temperatures. If the particles, however, are too small, they might prevent air from flowing freely through the pile. Compost system must have the right amount of air and water as well. The third consideration in composting is the moisture content. Microorganisms living in a compost pile need enough moisture to survive. Water is the key element that helps transport substances within the compost pile and makes the nutrients in organic material accessible to the microbes. Moisture is essential for composting. Too dry, a pile may cause the composting process to slow down. Too wet, a pile may create an anaerobic environment which can cause bad odors and also slows down decomposition. Water your pile or add more wet materials if it becomes too dry. And add carbon-heavy brown organic materials if it becomes too wet. The fourth area that should be looked out for is the oxygen flow. Aerating the pile allows decomposition to occur at a faster rate than in aerobic conditions. Care must be taken, however, not to provide too much oxygen, which can dry out the pile and impede the composting process. Aeration allows for proper airflow and makes oxygen available to the microorganisms. This helps maintain appropriate level of moisture and temperature. Aeration depends on the size and shape of the particles in the compost mix. Larger particles and loosely packaged materials make the compost more porous, increasing airflow and reducing moisture accumulation. Small particles will be more compacted, making airflow more difficult. The fifth area that needs to be looked out for in composting is the temperature. Microorganisms require a certain temperature range for optimal activity. Certain temperatures promote rapid composting and destroy pathogens and weed seeds. Compost temperature should be regularly monitored. The optimum temperature to promote microbial growth ranges from 40 to 60 degrees Celsius. High temperature ensure that most microbes of pathogenic significance cannot survive. However, microorganisms' activity and the degradation process dramatically slows down at temperature higher than 65 to 70 degrees Celsius. How are you doing, learners? Are you still with me? Very well, so let's continue. Let's now discuss factors to be considered in selecting composting site. The location of the composting is a very important factor in a successful compost operation. To minimize material handling, the composting facility should be located as close as possible to the source of organic waste. So we have here the different considerations in selecting site for composting. Number 1 is the composting method. Each composting method and its accompanying equipment will have different site requirements. So we will know about this different composting method as we go on with our discussion in producing organic fertilizers. So the area requirement for each composting method vary. The pile dimension or the size of the composting area also affects the amount of land area necessary for composting. We also need to consider wind direction. Improperly managed compost facilities may generate offensive odors until corrective actions are taken. Wind direction and proximity to neighbors should be considered when locating a composting facility. The third factor to be considered is the topography. Avoid locating composting facilities on steep slopes where runoff may be a problem, and in areas where the composting facility will be subject to inundation or flooding. So when we say steep slopes, those are hilly areas. Yes, compost must be placed in an elevated area, but draining away of water or runoff must not be a problem. Location should be on a level area with good soil drainage. Soils with poor drainage will slow down the decomposition process or compost decomposition and may cause the compost facility to be submerged with water that will automatically result to producing bad or foul odor. Composting site must also be elevated and away from water or the groundwater. The composting facility should be located down gradient and at a safe distance from any wellhead or any water source or bodies of water. A roof compost facility that is properly managed should not contaminate groundwater. Compost must be placed far away from any bodies of water because it can cause or might cause leaching that can result automatically to contamination of our bodies of water. Another factor to be considered in selecting composting site is the proximity to land users. Consider the site's proximity to other land user. Example is residential areas. The facility will potentially impact sensitive individuals due to noise, odor, dust, and others. So you cannot prevent your neighbors from complaining if ever your compost pile will produce bad odors. Odor is perhaps the most common problem associated with composting. Although a well-constructed and well-operated compost will not be odor-free, but it should not produce offensive or foul odors. In selecting site for composting, we also need to consider accessibility. Travel distances to raw materials and to product purchasers should be minimized. Also, the local zoning must be put into consideration. Some municipalities forbid composting facilities or restrict their location. So there are certain areas which will not allow composting facilities due to some factors. So do you have any question? So how about clarification? So if there's none, then kindly set your modules aside and get your paper and ball pen so we can answer the evaluation. Let us see if you really understand our discussion for this morning.
The Radyo Z-Eskwela program of the Division of Davao de Oro is being brought to you by Nueda Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated, Maverick Builders Incorporated, Mitch Construction and Supply, Archicons Architectural Construction and Supply, DB Construction and Supply, Hanaway Builders Corporation, Phoenix Corvada Tagum Gasoline Station, Master Construction and Supplies, Mackenzie Builders, GP&H Construction Incorporated, Metro Gear Construction Corporation, NEN Builders and Development Services Corporation, Max Mays Enterprises Incorporated, We Inc. Construction Company, Rangay Construction and Supply, East Sussex Enterprise, WM Construction, Councilor Boogie and Miss Marjorie Vertodazo, Icon Builders and Supply, and Apex Mining Company Incorporated.
Direction. Read the items inside the box. Circle the one that are organic and can be composted. Copy and answer in a one whole sheet of paper. I will give you 5 minutes for this activity. So we have styrofoam cup, plastic bag, computer, glass bottle, adhesive tape, lettuce, newspaper, orange peel, crayon, celery stalks, aluminum can, paper clip, grass clippings, twigs, banana peel, avocado peel, leaves, tangerine, peaches, notebook, pine needles, television, tree branch, and envelope. So your 5 minutes starts now. So are you done? Okay, very good. So let's check your answer. So you must have circled the newspaper, orange peel, celery stalks, grass clippings, twigs, banana peel, avocado peel, leaves, tangerine, peaches, and lettuce. So if you can observe, there are citrus fruits which is included, or citrus organic materials which are included here. So citrus is not really advisable or not really recommended, but it can be composted. However, it decomposes slowly. So what you should do is, if you include citrus peel or citrus organic material, you must cut them into small pieces for them to decompose easily. Okay? So, who got the perfect score? Wow! Very good! It's nice to know that you got high scores, which means you really understand our discussion for this morning. So before we end our discussion, let's have first this assignment. This will be a performance task which comprises 60 or 70% of your grade. Direction: go out and gather different organic materials found outside your home. Do not forget to wear your protective equipment while doing the activity. Be careful in using sharp objects. Please observe OHS, or the Occupational Health and Safety, always. Take photos as your MOVs of every activity that you will perform. You will be graded according to this criteria for gathering organic materials. We have 10 points, 7 points, and 5 points depending on your performance. We have first criteria is the quality. 10 points if you have assembled organic, fresh, juicy materials that are high in nitrogen, carbon, and toxins free. 7 points if you pick up organic materials that are carbonaceous and nitrogenous. And 5 points if you collected only one kind of organic waste. Another 10 points for the quantity. If you have collected 5 kilos of organic materials that are rich in carbon and nitrogen, that would be 10 points. If you gathered 3 kilos, that is 7 points. And if you congregated 1 kilo of organic materials, you get 5 points. Another criteria is the use of personal protective equipment. 10 points if you wear the complete protective equipment during the gathering. 7 points if you use only 2 to 3 PPE. And 5 points if you did not use or bring any of the PPE. Another criteria for gathering organic material is the use of tools and equipment. You can get 10 points if you use appropriate tools and equipment. 7 points if you use some prescribed tools, and 5 points if you use only one tool in gathering organic waste. So do you have any question? Okay, if there's none, then do your assignment as your performance task and submit it on our next meeting. Okay, so if there's no question, that would be all for this morning. Thank you for listening.
Radyo Z-Eskwela Executive and Technical Working Committee. The School's Division Superintendent, Eufemia T. Gamutin Seso 5. Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Romel R. Handayan. Curriculum Implementation Division OIC Chief, Dr. Arlene B. Lim. School Governance and Operations Division, Dr. Ruben J. Riponte. Program Director, Dr. Arlene B. Lim. Assistant Program Director, Noemi P. Canales. Members, Cecilia Morales, Dr. Hilda A. Opena, Dr. Eldecris B. Calzadora, Dr. Dexter A. Sikinia, Nohara O. Pinute, Dr. Grace D. Pontillas, Dr. Renato N. Pakpakin, Dr. Andy P. Cabodok, Juanito Lapiceros, Engineer Norberto S. Manlangit, Ryan Villanueva, Jomar M. Dumupoy, Bob Daylan S. Milabat, Medard D. Apit, and Paz Eugenia Villusino. Technical Working Committee, Production and Communications, Lorely E. Quijano, Given G. Hinampas, Judilan T. U, Donna D. T. Bolifer, Mary Rose N. Resma, Riwen C. Manuel, Irene Lea C. Manguhon, and Bessie Aya N. Banyes. Social Media and Packaging Team, Christian Anhara L. Martesio, William R. Ranara, Joan T. Iscoton, Roberto S. Acusar Jr., May B. Istaniol, Richard H. Arellano, Ralph A. Tabanyag, Angelo C. Gutierrez Jr., Jade Karen R. Arais, Eliza May Garsuta, Sedi S. Caballero, and Jane S. Caballero. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Right and only here at Z Radio 88.5, ang istasyong siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw.
Radio, halika na at makinig, mag-aaral tayo! Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, makinig, matuto. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, may matutuhan bago. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Davao de Oro, Radyo Z-Eskwela. Umaraw, ganun nga siya'y susulong. Kaya, halika na, mag-aaral tayo! Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, makinig, matuto. matuto sa Radyo Z-Eskwela. May matutuhang bago sa Radyo Z-Eskwela. Siguradong masaya. Davao de Oro, Radyo Z-Eskwela.
Handog ng DepEd Davao de Oro, Radyo Z-Eskwela. Siguradong masaya.
Let's go!
Z Radio 88.5.
And yes, we are back po. It's already 1:50 na po ng hapon. Again, 1:50 na ang atong oras mga ka-Z-Eskwela. And time check sa ating gihapon ka natin sa Mackenzie Builders o sa Master Construction and Supply. So we have just witnessed our last lesson presentation po para sa ating episode sa araw na ito, ang TVL Agri-Fishery Arts. Nais nating i-congratulate at pasalamatan po si Teacher Charis May A. Asuncion. And that concludes our program for today mga ka-Z-Eskwela. Maraming thank you po for being with us sa loob po ng 4 na oras. Okay, so tumutok pa rin po kayo. Lagi niyo pong aabangan ang ating programa dahil po mapapakinggan niyo adlong tanan yun, no? Sugod adlong Lunes, taman adlong Domingo, alas 10 sa buntag, hangtod sa alas 2 sa hapon. So for tomorrow's episode, dapat niyo pong abangan ang ating programa para po sa Alternative Learning System CONAL. So samahan niyo po si Sir Given Hinampas bukas para po sa ating programa. So 1:52 na. 8 minutes to go bago po tayo magpaalam at 8 minutes to go na lang po bago rin po magsara ang ating attendance link. Kaya naman sa lahat ng ating mga learners dyan, kung hindi pa po kayo nakapagpadala ng inyong mga responses para po sa ating attendance for today, so do it now. Our link po is naka-flash sa ating screen. Naka-pin naman po yan sa ating mga comment boxes. So for our attendance link for today, https://tinyurl.com/Radyo Z-Eskwela June 26. At sa mga nakapagpadala na po ng kani-kanilang mga responses, maraming salamat po. Okay, so if you missed our episode for today or naulahi mo no, ninyo na witness ang ubang lesson presentations, worry no more, tungod pwede nyo na masilip sa itong YouTube channel. So just make sure nga nakasubscribe na mo. Our YouTube channel po is Radyo Z-Eskwela DDO. Palike na rin po ng ating mga videos and don't forget to hit the notification bell po para ma-notify mo kung doon na sabtay mga bagong videos nga ato ang i-upload. Okay, so pasalamatan natin muli ang ating mga program sponsors. We have this Metro Gear Construction Corporation, NAN Builders and Development Services Corporation, Max Maze Enterprises Incorporated, Weing Construction Company, Rangay Construction and Supply, East Sussex Enterprise, WM Construction, Councilor Bugian Miss Margie Vertidazo, Acon Builders and Supply, Apex Mining Company Incorporated, at sa Pahati Construction. Ayan sila po ang ating mga program sponsors. Thank you so much for all the love and support para sa itong programa. Ug kinigihapon mga ka-Z-Eskwela, ang inyong paboritong programa ang Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. At ang atin pong programa hatid po sa atin ng DepEd Division of Davao de Oro in partnership with the Z Radio 88.5. At ako'y magpapaalam na po. Maraming thank you once again for being with us today. 1:54 na mga ka-Z-Eskwela sa ngalan sa kinatibukang puwersa sa RBI DepEd Division of Davao de Oro inubanan sa management and staff dinhi sa Z Radio 88.5. Sa ngalan lang pod sa atong maestrong mawabenyo Sir Drew Manuel, to our VMix operator for today Sir William Ranara Jr. and sa ato ang secretariat Ma'am Irene Manguhon. Kini inyong maestra sa kahanginan, ang chinitang maestra po ng nabunturan Teacher Maymay Resma. Saying ampingat sa kanunay guys, og dalaygon ang Dios.
Sugata ang adlaw with a smile. Tune in na sa radio, in alive. Bisan na sa man good, listen to the music and it feels so good. Ay gundang ihangtod.